Chapter 98. At this moment, Lin Luoran is not only tempted to fly on the sword, but also she needs to get out of the valley. Looking at the sword of bright snow in Lin Luoran's hand, White Fairy shows a trace of nostalgia. Then it disappears quickly. In her long life, she has done many tempting things like fighting. She has seen many talented cultivators, but none of them can resist the temptation of spells and spirit weapons. Therefore, White Fairy is confident. She is not anxious at all. In her mind, the one who is anxious should be the junior in the level of training Qi. White Fairy's smile is 30% amazing and 30% reserved. The remaining 60% is the arrogance of a former high-level cultivator. Lin Luoran thinks for a while and jumps up from the ground. She looks at White Fairy and says seriously, "Well, your suggestion is very tempting. I admit that I am tempted. In exchange, tell me what you want." White Fairy claps her hands. Lin Luoran doesn't know how she claps her hands. Maybe she uses the friction of the wind in the air? My request is simple. Take me out of the valley. Only out of the valley? Lin Luoran frowns. The abyss is like a mountain for a junior cultivator in the level of training Qi. Does it also restrict a fairy without a body? Noticing Lin Luoran's hesitation, White Fairy points to the round stone under her feet and explains, "Many years ago, I was plotted against by scoundrels. My body and soul were almost destroyed. A strand of my remnant soul accidentally escaped to this valley. This soul stone gathered my remnant soul and helped me survive. However, I was trapped by it and couldn't step out of this valley. Speaking of this," White Fairy smiles sadly, "even if I can get rid of the soul stone, without the protection of any external weapon, the wind that is everywhere in the abyss is strong enough to break my soul." Lin Luoran is silent for a while. She doesn't know how much of what White Fairy said is true. However, if what she said is true, it would be a tragedy for a remnant soul to stay here for thousands of years. Lin Luoran is silent for a while. "Fairy, may I ask you a question? If White Fairy didn't need this little female cultivator in the level of training Qi, she wouldn't have talked so much with Lin Luoran. Since she has said what she should and shouldn't, it is not a big deal to answer a few questions." She nods. Lin Luoran hesitates and asks, "What was your level of cultivation before you fell into the valley? What about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality 1,000 years ago?" White Fairy doesn't expect that Lin Luoran would ask this question. She pauses for a while. She hasn't thought about it for a long time. Speaking of which, it was the 3rd year of King Wu of Zhou. "Before I died, I never heard about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality. It must have happened after I died. It was the 3rd year of King Wu of Zhou." "Oh, you should have heard about King Wu of Zhou. Wu of the Joy School went to the secular world to be a female emperor. She was a joke in the world of cultivation. As for why you are so sure that you never heard about the migration of cultivators in the level of gathering vitality, it is because I was in the later stage of gathering vitality when I was plotted against in the secret land. If there was a migration, I would have heard about it. So, I can't answer your question." "The later stage of gathering vitality?" Lin Luoran gasps. She underestimated White Fairy. Fortunately, she is only a remnant soul now and she needs help from White Fairy. Otherwise, it is hard to say what will happen now. "Fairy, is it possible that only cultivators above the level of gathering vitality receive the news?" Lin Luoran asks. She doesn't know why she is so concerned about the migration of the world of cultivation. Maybe those cultivators know that the Tao of nature has fallen and foresee the decline of cultivation on the earth after 1,000 years, so they migrated to other places suitable for cultivation. Or maybe something happened and they had to leave. However, Lin Luoran is sure that as she moves forward on the path of cultivation, the whereabouts of the cultivators will be very important to her. White Fairy laughs. "Cultivators above the level of gathering vitality. It has been 600 years since I entered the world of cultivation. I have never seen a cultivator above the level of gathering vitality and reach the level of divinization. It's said that once a cultivator reaches the soul formation stage, they will break through the void and ascend to the heavens, never to be in the mortal world again. But who knows where those soul formation stage cultivators who are said to have broken through the void and ascended to the heavens went? Break through the void and ascend to heaven? Lin Luoran clenches her fists. This is a realm that is far away from her. She should focus on the present first. Fairy, shall we learn the sword-riding spell first? White Fairy looks at Lin up and down and nods slowly. Now my primordial spirit is greatly damaged, so I can't see what kind of Taoist root you have. Since you can make some crappy water curtains, I guess your Taoist root contains the water element. It should be enough for you to fly out of the abyss with the sword of bright snow. White Fairy raises her hand and points at Lin at a speed that Lin Luoran can't dodge at all. A white light instantly disappears between Lin Luoran's eyebrows. Suddenly, an ancient text appears in her mind. Lin Luoran knows that this is the so-called sword-riding spell. Read it by yourself first, White Fairy says. Maybe she has consumed too much energy today, so she turns into a puff of smoke and disappears under the big round stone. Lin Luoran picks a dry grassland. She is afraid that the deers and horses that are not afraid of strangers and the jumping rabbits will run into them. Lin Luoran leaves a part of her spiritual mind as a warning, and the rest of her mind is immersed in the ancient text. Swords are weapons. Pure gold and divine wood can be used as materials, and the earth fire can cast them. This is a general outline about swords. In other words, it talks about the levels of flying swords in the world of cultivation, the common materials used to make flying swords, and some simple ways to refine weapons. A short paragraph of text after that talks about the sword-riding spell and how to activate and control the magic circle engraved on the sword of bright snow. In comparison, the general outline not only opens the door for Lin Luoran, but also gives her a more systematic understanding of the art of refining weapons. This is the most valuable part. Lin Luoran is like surfing in the ocean. She is like a whale sucking in water, absorbing the knowledge crazily. She doesn't want to miss any bit of it. The general outline is more than 10,000 words, and it is written in classical Chinese. However, Lin Luoran engraves it in her mind after repeated reading. The power of White Fairy's finger directly injects the text into her mind. Although it is very convenient and fast, it is not Lin Luoran's effort. Lin Luoran feels insecure. She feels that she can never forget it for the rest of her life only if she remembers it. There is day and night in the secret land. Lin Luoran doesn't know how this secret land hidden at the bottom of the sea achieves the alternation of day and night. In short, it has its own set of rules. When Lin Luoran wakes up from meditation, she finds that the night has fallen. The valley is quiet except for the occasional chirping of insects, which brings a little vitality in the night. Lin Luoran opens her eyes and stares at the round stone with a complicated look. Several clumps of grass are stained with the night frost. They are crystal clear under the moonlight, which is very attractive. However, the round stone is silent. Where can she find the proud figure of White Fairy? Chapter 99. To master the art of sword raining, the first step is to have a good rapport with the flying sword. To put it more mysteriously, the sword has its own spirit. If you communicate with it more often, you will have a tacit understanding with it. Whether it's flying on the sword or fighting with it, you will be partners. After a long time, you will be able to control the sword. If you want to master the sword, you must put a spiritual mind seed into the sword and communicate with it often. You must nourish the sword with your own Reiki. In this process, you must strengthen your spiritual mind and make it fit with your mind. To put it simply, you must be able to command the sword when you need it. Moreover, it was clearly stated in the general principles that the magical equipment used by cultivators could be divided into 9 grades according to their materials, power, attributes, and so on. Of course, comprehensive combat power had to be taken into account, but there was a very clear threshold. Below the 5th grade, all magic treasures were already fixed. Above the 5th grade, it was due to the techniques and materials used. Magic treasures were full of plasticity and had the same room for growth as their masters. There are many delicate magic circles engraved inside the sword of bright snow. White Fairy also says that it is cast from the cold iron under the 1,000-year-old glacier. White Fairy also says that it is a grade 5 magic weapon. Lin Luoran feels that something is wrong. White Fairy used to be a cultivator in the later stage of gathering vitality. She naturally doesn't care about grade 5 flying swords. Lin Luoran asks her why she pays so much attention to the sword. White Fairy snorts, "As a flying sword, it is not good enough. However, it is a hairpin, so it is different. The body of the hairpin is cast from the cold iron of the glacier. The blue pearls are real tears of mermaids. Mermaids are the so-called mermaids. This hairpin is really luxurious." Even as a flying sword, Lin Luoran's personal ability is still very high. To put it bluntly, even during the reign of Emperor Wu of the Zhou dynasty, there was a 100% chance that a Qi refinement stage cultivator would be robbed on a dark and windy night with a 5th-grade flying sword in his hand. One could imagine how precious the Sword of Bright Snow was. Therefore, when White Fairy says that this is Dan Feng's snow sword, Lin Luoran doesn't act like a rich person. She tells White Fairy that the other half of the bright sword is actually with her. According to White Fairy's disdain, Lin Luoran has already checked the universal sack given by Wen Guanjing. Lin Luoran is not unhappy about White Fairy's disdain about her wealth. Instead, Lin Luoran feels lucky that she didn't expose the secret of her space. No matter when, it's never wrong to hold back, right? Magic circles, on the other hand, bring Lin Luoran many surprises. For example, when she was testing the sword, Lin Luoran just needed to circulate Reiki around the small magic circle inside the blue pearl. The suppressed nature of the snow sword will be stimulated, and its color will become frosty and chilling. Lin Luoran waved her hand over the grassland. The poor grassland is frozen, and ice can be seen in the mud 3 feet under the ground. It is very powerful. Lin Luoran, who is in the level of training Qi, may only be able to defeat such a powerful sword with 2 swords. Not only the enemy, but Lin Luoran's Reiki will also be drained. Lin Luoran's power can't be improved overnight. It's useless for Lin Luoran to be anxious. She has to take it easy. Fortunately, her priority now is to fly on the sword. The White Fairy is a good teacher. She is very careful when she is explaining. Lin Luoran also knows what to do, so she puts the tempting introduction aside and spends the whole night learning the sword-riding spell. During the day, the White Fairy explains it to her again. In the evening of the next day, Lin Luoran can actually control the sword to fly crookedly. Of course, only the snow sword can leave her hand and hover around Lin Luoran's head and body crookedly. There is still a long way to go before it can take Lin Luoran to fly. During this period, in order not to arouse suspicion, Lin Luoran only eats the compressed food in the universal sack given by Wen Guanjing. After 2 meals of biscuits, Lin Luoran starts to think about the animals in the valley. The deer and horses are so cute that they always rub against Lin Luoran. Compared with the fat rabbits jumping around, Lin Luoran can only say, "Amitba," and beat the fat rabbits. A clean rabbit meat is hanging on a branch. Lin Luoran has always been envious of this scene in a martial arts movie since she was a child. Today, her dream finally comes true. There is nothing else in the universal sack, but there is a bag of salt. Lin Luoran has always suspected that the Sword of Bright Snow has something to do with the White Fairy. How can she cut the rabbit meat with the flying sword in front of the White Fairy? Therefore, the spells of the 5 elements come in handy. Lin Luoran casts the spell Cicada Wing of the Gold series. It is as thin as a cicada's wing. It is a waste to cut the rabbit meat with salt. The firewood fire is very hot. Those silly deer and horses don't know that Lin Luoran, who looks elegant, has been thinking about them. They come to the fire to warm themselves up and show some curiosity about the fire. The rabbit skewered on the wooden stick is roasted by the firewood. Its surface is shiny and it is sizzling. The aroma is spreading everywhere. It is really wild game. Of course, the White Fairy doesn't want to eat it. In fact, as a primordial spirit, she can't eat it even if she wants to. Therefore, after expressing her embarrassment to the White Fairy, Lin Luoran starts to eat the rabbit meat without embarrassment. Although she only smears salt on the meat, it tastes delicious. The rabbit meat is fat but not greasy. It is the best rabbit meat Lin Luoran has ever eaten. Looking at Lin Luoran, who is concentrating on eating the rabbit meat, the White Fairy frowns. It seems that Lin Luoran has at least the Taoist root of gold and water. If the fireball spell she said before is not a bluff, it means that this junior has at least the Taoist root of 3 elements. Her foundation is so poor. The white fairy is so annoyed that she doesn't know what to do next. Lin Luoran lowers her head to eat the rabbit meat and touches the heads of those silly deer and horses from time to time. It seems that she doesn't notice the white fairy's embarrassment at all. The deeper the night, the heavier the dew. The grass that had been exposed to the sun during the day would emit a faint grass fragrance at night, mixed with the unique earthy smell of the soil, forming a light smell that wasn't too unpleasant. Lin Luoran is meditating with her eyes closed. However, her spiritual mind is always around her body as a warning. She doesn't know why tonight, but she has been restless. She always feels that someone is secretly watching her. However, there are only her and the white fairy at the bottom of the valley. In fact, the white fairy is not a human being. Is it really her? Lin Luoran thinks about it all night. She is not in the mood to cultivate it all. She falls asleep at dawn. She feels that as soon as she closes her eyes, the sun shines on her face. She can't sleep or wake up. The white fairy comes over like a gust of wind. She rolls up a handful of water and sprinkles it on Lin Luoran's face. Chapter 100. The white fairy wakes Lin up with a handful of water and tells her that she has to leave the valley today. Lin is so scared that she thinks something serious has happened. She wakes up immediately. Seeing the white fairy's serious face, Lin knows that she is not lying. The white fairy is not a talkative person. Lin doesn't ask more questions. She eats something and starts to practice the sword-riding spell. The white fairy doesn't hide anything from Lin. She is very careful when teaching Lin. She almost wants to fly to the sky instead of Lin. In the afternoon, Lin can finally fly. However, she falls more than 10 times on the way. Every part of her body hurts. The white fairy feels that the sun is about to set. There is nothing she can do about Lin's progress. She can only urge Lin to dig the big round stone. It is not difficult to dig the stone. Lin thinks that it is difficult to take the big stone away without exposing the space of the sacred bead. However, the white fairy asks her to cut off the surface of the stone. The sword of bright snow cuts the stone like cutting melons and vegetables. In less than a quarter of an hour, the sword of bright snow has cut the inside of the stone. There is a diamond-shaped black crystal stone. This is the soul stone that the white fairy mentioned. It is also her hiding place. Seeing that the soul stone is not damaged, white fairy breathes a sigh of relief. I have observed for many years. Today, the gang wind in the abyss will be the weakest of the year. You keep the soul stone close to you. With the vitality of living people in you, I can go out without any loss. Lin Luoran nods to show that she understands. Since she is paid, she has to help. The general instruction given by White Fairy is valuable enough for Lin Luoran to take a gamble. Different from spells, the sword-riding spell needs to be controlled by 2 hands. Lin puts the soul stone in White Fairy's universal sack and casts the spell. The sword of bright snow expands in the wind just like when Guanjing's flying sword. However, the sword of bright snow is long and smooth, with a sense of arrogance in it. Of course, Lin is happy. The sword of bright snow is a smooth sports car. Fortunately, it is not like when Guanjing's bus. Lin Luoran looks back at the deers and horses who are staring at her with tears in their eyes. Lin Luoran stops looking at them and flies up on her sword. The environment in the valley is really suitable for living in seclusion. However, she can't give up her family and friends outside. She has to say goodbye to the deers and horses. Although the sun is about to set, Li Xi'er has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. She has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. The sun is setting in the west, but Li Xi'er has no shelter at all. She has been trapped on the balcony for 3 days. Food is not a problem. Everyone has prepared a month's supply of compressed food in the universal sack. However, what bothers Li Xi'er is not food. Water. How could he get more water? Li Xi'er weaves the leaves of the mountain vines into a small bowl. She has been drinking dew from the abyss in the past 3 days. However, the feeling of sweat on her body still makes her want to cry every time she thinks about it. Different from Li Xi'er, who always cries, Lin's aptitude is so good that people are jealous of her. A genius with a single Taoist root of gold, even 1,000 years ago when spells were flourishing, would be hard to find a disciple like Lin Luoren. Because she is well protected, even when Guanjing and the others don't know that this little girl, who has always been a senior brother, has reached the middle stage of training Qi even though she is only in her early 20s, in this era when Reiki is in chaos and spells are declining. This is the level of a genius of a single nature. On the dangerous night of Bermuda, Li Shi-er's master agreed to let her come. On the one hand, Li Shi-er wants her to find a chance to lay foundation. On the other hand, Li Shi-er hopes that she can grow up through the hardships. It is really shameful for a cultivator who doesn't even dare to kill a chicken. However, no matter how talented she is, Li Shi-er is just a little cultivator in the middle stage of training Qi. Her master is not a sword cultivator and she can't ride on a sword. Except for flying swords, magic weapons with the ability to fly are very precious. Li Shi doesn't have such a magic weapon. The fish thread-like magic weapon is really a travel product for sneak attacks. However, she still has to put a bell on it to warn the enemy. Li Shi-er is so stupid. Stupid Li Shi-er has been crying for Lin Luoren in the past 3 days. She sighs about the difficulty of drinking water and there is no way to get out of the abyss. Besides, there is a bigger problem that bothers her more. Li Shi-er looks at the sky and is thinking about how to solve this problem. Suddenly, she hears a long roar above her head. Her heart is beating fast. That thing is coming again. The fish thread-like magic weapon is wrapped around her wrist with a small bell. It looks like a unique bracelet. She shrinks to the cliff and looks up. A hawk with golden feathers and claws is hovering between the cliffs of the abyss. Seeing the prey it has been coveting for 2 days, the hawk swoops down at a fast speed. Li Shi-er has suffered a lot in the past 2 days. She naturally knows how powerful the golden hawk is. She has been gathering her strength for a long time. Seeing that the hawk is about to dive down, Li Shi-er casts a spell of Golden Blade spell. When the hawk is 20 feet away from Li Shi-er's head, Li Shi-er swings her right hand and a streak of golden light shoots out. The golden light hits the hawk's huge claw. Gold is the most powerful among the 5 elements and it is famous for its sharpness. However, when Li Shi-er's golden blade hits the hawk's huge claw, the hawk whines and flies up. However, there are only 2 shallow marks on its huge claw. The part of the hawk's claw near its flesh seems to be injured. A few drops of hawk blood drip down. Seeing that the hawk is injured, Li Shi-er is relieved. Without the help of magic figures, Li Shi-er can use such a fierce attack 5 times in a row in such a place with abundant Reiki. After 2 days of fighting with the hawk, Li Shi-er knows that the hawk will not give up. The first hit with the golden blade makes Li Shi-er more confident that she can survive the hawk's attack. The golden hawk flies between the cliffs of the abyss for a while. The wound on its claw is really painful. However, the creature on the cliff makes it drool. The hawk struggles for a while and starts to dive again. Li Shi-er has been ready for the second attack. Seeing the golden hawk flying towards her, she uses the golden blade spell again. This time, the blade hits the wings of the golden hawk. Different from the claws, the golden light hits the feathers. However, it is like a drop of water sliding through the grease. The golden light is dodged. Li Shi-er is shocked and her hands become flustered. When the golden hawk swoops down again, Li Shi-er loses the accuracy of her golden blade spell and misses the target twice. The golden hawk finally realizes that Li Shi-er is just a paper tiger. With a long howl, it flies higher into the sky. Li Shi-er sticks out her tongue and thinks that this is the end of the day. However, a strong wind blows. Li Shi-er raises her head and sees the shadow of the hawk swooping down. The 2 huge golden claws are infinitely enlarged. This time, the attack is fast and fierce. Li Shi-er is so scared that she even forgets that she can use the golden blade spell. She doesn't even know that she can use the fishing line magic weapon to defend herself. She is so scared that she closes her eyes and cries, "Is it going to die like this?" Li Shi-er is terrified. She thinks of her master, her parents, and all the people in the special squad. She misses Brother Wen and Sister Lin, who fell into the abyss to save her. If Sister Lin is here, It will be easy for her to deal with this little eagle, right? The more she thinks about it, the sadder she feels. After crying for a while, she is so tired that she doesn't realize that the scene where she is eaten by the hawk doesn't happen. Forget it. It's better to jump into the abyss and find Sister Lin. It's better than being eaten by the hawk. Li Shi'er opens her eyes and wants to jump off the cliff. However, she sees that Sister Lin, whom she thought was dead, is standing on a blue flying sword. Her skirt is fluttering in the wind. Sister Lin is using a water rope to trap the hawk. How majestic! Sister Lin! Li Shi'er throws herself on the platform. This time, she really cries with joy. Lin Luoran increases the output of Reiki to increase the binding power of the water rope. Seeing that Li Shi'er finally comes to herself, she nods to her. Chapter 101. Catch the Golden Hawk? Li is stunned. Sister Lin is so bold. She is not as weak as she is. Hearing Lin's urging again, Li is very anxious. She looks around for a while and then remembers the fishing line on her wrist. Got it. Li makes a spell with her hands. The fishing line is watered by Reiki and flies up from her wrist. Li shouts, "Go!" and the fishing line rushes to the hawk. The hawk's attention is attracted by Lin, so it has no time to deal with Li's sneak attack. It didn't care about the thin fishing line at all. It grabbed it with its claws, but the fishing line didn't get torn off by its claws. Instead, it followed the golden eagle's claws and quickly tied it up tightly. The fishing line seemed to stretch endlessly. Not only did it tie up the golden eagle's wings, but it also tied up its sharp claws and beak. The amazing thing was that the more you struggled, the tighter it got. The golden eagle couldn't do anything about it. The arrogant golden hawk loses its ability to fight at once. Because its wings are trapped, it can't flap its wings to fly. It is about to fall into the abyss. Lin Luoran grabs its huge claw and flies it to the balcony upside down. Li feels like she is in a dream. She rushes to Lin and tries to grab her cuffs. However, Lin is wearing a sleeveless dress. Li has no idea where to grab Lin. She stares at Lin with tears in her eyes. "Sister Lin, I'm so glad you are fine." Lin Luoran can tell that Li Shi'er has suffered a lot in the past 3 days. It is easy for Li Shi'er and Li Shi'er to develop feelings for each other. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran can't be as cold to Li Shi'er as before. Seeing Li Shi'er's eyes are full of tears, Lin Luoran doesn't know what to say. After a while of embarrassment, she asks, "Are you hungry?" Li pouts. She nods and then shakes her head. "No. I'm thirsty." Lin Luoran agrees. This place is not close to the sky, so water is indeed a problem. Lin Luoran takes out a bottle of mineral water from her universal sack and hands it to Li. Seeing that Li is drinking it in a hurry, Lin Luoran asks curiously, "I remember that there is enough water and food for a month in your universal sack." Li Shi'er is very embarrassed. She lowers her voice. "There are several sets of clothes in my universal sack. It's understandable that girls love to be beautiful." Lin Luoran wants to skip this topic. Li moistens her dry lips and says pitifully, "Sister, I want to take a bath." She has seen Lin Luoran make a magnificent bridge on the sea with a wave of her hand. She just wants Lin Luoran to drop some water on her so that she can clean herself. Seeing that Li's face is as dirty as a cat, Lin remembers that she threw Li onto the rock. She sighs and casts a cleaning spell. Like a gentle breeze, Lin cleans away the dust on Li's body. Li is so happy that she almost kisses Lin Luoran. She takes out a pile of palace dresses from the universal sack and puts one on. Then she holds a white tang dress in her hands. She wants to give it to Lin Luoran. Lin lifts the golden hawk in her hand, indicating that it is not easy to change clothes with it. Li pats her head and says, "Sister, let me carry it. This bad thing has bullied me for 2 days. I have to let it have a taste of its power." Lin smiles. She doesn't look down on Li's childish behavior. Li's fishing line has been tying the golden hawk tightly. In fact, the end of the line is still on her wrist. Maybe it is the magic of the fishing line itself that makes it easy for her to carry the hawk. It is like swinging on a swing or flying a kite. The poor golden hawk is hanging upside down in the abyss. Its cheeks must be red under its feathers. Obviously, it has been hanging upside down for a long time and its head is congested with blood. The palace dress that Li insists on giving Lin is of fine quality. There are 2 looming flowers embroidered on the cuffs. Compared with the sleeveless dress Lin is wearing, this dress is indeed a better match for the sword of bright snow. Well, the white fairy is hiding in the soul stone. She is aware of everything in the outside world. She has despised Lin's dress, which is said to be designed by a famous designer for a long time. She sneers at Lin's dress from time to time, saying that Lin's ears are getting calluses from hearing the bad fashion nowadays. According to White Fairy's requirements, the clothes given by Li Shi don't even have a dust-proof circle on them. Of course, they are not qualified. Fortunately, there are ancient characters on them. White Fairy can accept this style. Why don't she try it? Li Shi is looking at Lin Luoran eagerly. Lin Luoran is still using the water curtain as a barrier and quickly changes her clothes. When the water reiki disperses, Lin Luoran appears in front of Li Shi. Her robe is fluttering in the strong wind in the abyss. Standing on the edge of the stone platform, Lin Luoran looks like a fairy who is about to be blown into the sky by the wind. While Li is distracted, the hawk is in trouble. The fishing line, in Li's hand, its real name is bundling rope, is a magic weapon with excellent ductility. As soon as Li's hand slips, the hawk slips down into the abyss. Lin Luoran is speechless. She grabs the rope and pulls up the hawk, who is scared to death. Lin Luoran stares at the golden hawk who is scared to death and says, "I want to take you as my servant. Are you willing?" Li blinks. She doesn't understand why Lin is talking to a feathered animal. Well, this hawk is powerful, but it is just a big bird. Why does Sister Lin want to take it as her servant? Can a hawk work? After being hung for a long time, the golden hawk's brain is congested with blood. It wants to tear the 2 abominable animals in front of it into pieces, but its wings can't move at all. However, it strangely feels that Lin Luoran has no intention to hurt it. As for what she says, it naturally can't understand. The hawk rolls its eyes and keeps nodding and bowing, which is a gesture of begging for mercy. Lin laughs, "You are so small. Of course you can't understand me. You are too impatient." Anyway, the hawk can't say anything against Lin, so it has no right to say anything. Lin takes advantage of this. She bites her middle finger and casts a spell. She draws a word figure in the air with her blood and puts it into the hawk's brain. This is a contract that cultivators must make when they want to take a spirit animal as their servant. This kind of drawing with blood is also called the blood contract. It is the most formal and strict contract between a master and a servant. It is usually used to deal with fierce birds and beasts. The golden eagle felt the power of balance approaching and instinctively wanted to resist the blood contract. It was also a kind of spiritual beast of heaven and earth, so its perception was extraordinary. Even though its innate magical power had not been awakened, it could feel that this was something that could make it lose its freedom. However, would this very powerful animal in front of it throw itself into the abyss after being rejected? The golden eagle recalled the feeling of falling and rising just now and softened without any backbone. While it was hesitating, the blood contract had been quickly verified. It was useless for it to go back on its words. Why does it suddenly feel that the animal in front of it has become kind and pleasing to the eye? The hawk's brain is still simple, so it doesn't know that this is the reaction of a successful master and servant contract. It stares at Lin in confusion. Once the contract is formed, Lin can feel the change of the hawk's mood. Lin tells Li to put away the magic weapon and stop tying it up. Li Shi is stunned. She doesn't know why Lin Luoran hurt her, but she knows how powerful Sister Lin is. With the help of Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran, Li Shi is confident that she can tie up the golden hawk again. She listens to Lin Luoran and takes back the bundling rope. As expected, as soon as the rope is taken back, the hawk feels that it has become the master. It hates Li for tying it up for a long time. It flaps its wings and tries to peck Li. Li screams and forgets the countermeasures she has thought of before. She only knows to hide behind Lin. "Goldie, from now on, your name is Goldie. Can you cultivate with me?" Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to communicate with the golden eagle. The golden eagle hears the human voice in its head and strangely understands it. Goldie, my name is Goldie? Although the hawk doesn't know what its name is, it knows that Goldie is calling it. Goldie can only express simple emotions such as happiness, anger, sadness, and happiness. It can't speak human language. Facing Lin's intimacy, it takes a step forward and tries to rub against Lin. However, Lee is so scared that she almost falls into the abyss. What? Senior sister, it really can understand your words. Seeing that the hawk is not as fierce as she imagined, Lee is surprised. However, she still hides behind Lin and doesn't dare to get close to the hawk. Lin smiles. Goldie is not only obedient, but also we need it to get out of here. Chapter 102. With a clear chirp of a bird, a golden hawk flaps its wings and rushes out of the abyss. The sky in the lost land is so blue. Mountains and water coexist with each other. There are ancient trees and streams. Deer are drinking water and tigers are attacking sheep. Everything is so peaceful and beautiful. When all of this was looked down from high up in the sky, it was even more magnificent. The dream of mankind had never left flying, which was why the starry sky was so bright and mysterious that people yearned for it. That was why the immortals in the myths who rode on the clouds were envied and enjoyed incense. She has taken a plane before, but it's a totally different concept from what she is seeing now. When Lin Luoran looks down from Goldie's back, she has the feeling of a cultivator. What is cultivation? Isn't it about flying freely in the world? Li Shi-er shouted. If she were not in the sky, she would have stood up and jumped. Otherwise, she would not be able to express her inner excitement. She is just a girl from an ordinary family. When she was 7, her master found that she has the Taoist root of the nature of gold. She was taken back to her master's school to cultivate. In the beautiful mountains, the little girl's heart is as clear as a mirror. Naturally, her master will give priority to a genius like her. Therefore, in her cultivation career, Li Shi-er has never known what competition is. She doesn't know how sinister people can be. She doesn't need to compete at all. Her master only asks her to cultivate hard. Her parents who stay in the secular world can live a rich life and she has a bright future. This kind of mind is suitable for cultivation, but it's not enough to be aggressive. Li Shi-er has the Taoist root of a single nature, which is hard to come by in 100 years. Her master's hope is not only to lay foundation. Besides, the nature of gold is the main attack. Cultivators must have the drive to match it. Otherwise, the gap between their state of mind and body will hinder their cultivation. However, compared with her peers, Li Shi-er's path is too smooth. Lin Luoran is in the middle stage of training Qi while Lin Luoran is in the late stage of training Qi. Lin Luoran is in the middle stage of training Qi while Lin Luoran is in the late stage of training Qi. Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran are only one small level apart, but there is such a huge gap in strength. Besides, Lin Luoran knows spells of the water and has used the binding spell of the wood. That is to say, Lin Luoran has at least 2 Taoist roots. Sitting on Goldie's back, Li Shi-er sighs at the beautiful scenery. At the same time, she has a little fighting spirit in her heart. Sister Lin is not a genius of a single nature, but she is already so powerful. Li Shi-er should work harder in the future. Li Shi-er doesn't want to be the first one, but she also doesn't want to be trapped on the cliff for 3 days and wait for her senior brothers and sisters to save her. Of course, Lin Luoran doesn't know that her appearance will bring such a big shock to this inexperienced little girl. Even if she knew, she would only think it was a good thing. The path of cultivation was long. If she was really the last cultivator in this world, that would be truly tragic. Senior sister, look over there. Li Shi-er points at a place down the cliff and suddenly shouts. Lin Luoran looks at the direction where Li Shi-er is pointing and finds that it is a forest. From their height, they can only see that the trees are full of fruits, but they can't tell what kind of fruit trees they are. Anyway, the trees are so large that they almost cover the whole hill. Seeing the look on Li's face, Lin Luoran knows that Li is greedy. Li loves delicious food and she never tries to hide it. This reminds Lin Luoran of Baojia, who must be sick at the foot of Mount Qingqing. Lin Luoran shakes her head and smiles. She can't turn down Li's desire. Besides, Goldie is also screaming. It must be thirsty after spending so much time with Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran instructs Goldie to find a place to land. When Goldie spreads its wings, its back is 2 meters wide and its wings are 7 or 8 meters wide. That is why it can fly high with 2 people on its back. Now that Goldie is going to land, it needs a spacious place. Goldie hovers for a while and finds an open place. It rushes down. Li Shir is so scared that she grabs its feathers tightly. Lin Luoran has to hold Goldie's neck tightly to avoid being thrown off. Goldie coos and slows down. Lin Luoran can sense its mood and is amused. It seems that Goldie is taking revenge on Li Shir for teasing it on the cliff. Goldie is indeed a psychic bird. As they get closer, Lin Luoran and Li Shir see that they are in a peach forest. Pink and big peaches are hanging on the short peach trees. Lin Luoran can smell the fragrance of fruits from afar. Taking a breath, Lin Luoran feels that it is really fragrant. Lin Luoran gets down from Goldie's back and takes Li Shir with her. Goldie doesn't wait for Lin Luoran's order. The short peach tree is only half the height of a person. Goldie only needs to jump a little to reach the top. However, this silly eagle has a more direct way. It flaps its wings. Even the golden knife spell can't penetrate its wings. The peaches are so fragile that they fall to the ground. Goldie picks up a big peach, holds it in its beak and shakes it to Lin Luoran. Li Shir, who has always disliked Goldie, is finally overwhelmed by its cuteness. Li Shir wants to pick up the peaches that Goldie has knocked down. Goldie stares at her with its eagle eyes and spreads its wings to stop her. Li Shir sighs and pouts. She goes to the peach tree next to her and finds the biggest and reddest one. She bites it angrily. However, although the skin of the peach looks crisp, the inside is actually ripe. Li Shir takes a bite and the peach juice splashes all over her face, which makes her jump again. Seeing Goldie's short cry and flapping its wings, Lin Luoran almost bursts into laughter. Goldie is not stupid. It seems that it is laughing at Li Shir. Not only that, but Goldie also pecks open a peach and cleverly sucks up all the juice. Li Shir is so angry that she jumps up and down. Lin Luoran feels that both Goldie and Goldie are funny. No wonder they can stay on the cliff for 2 days. Lin Luoran opens the peach that Goldie gives her and takes a sip. It is sweet and delicious. If the peach is cultivated in the space, will it evolve into a peach like the Queen Mother's peach after many years? It is a bit far-fetched, but it is still possible to plant some. Lin Luoran collects several peach seeds and puts them in the universal sack. White Fairy's disgusted voice rings. "You are so bold. How dare you put anything next to me?" Lin Luoran notices that Li Shir and Goldie are provoking each other. In fact, she is having a good time and has no time to care about what is happening here. Lin Luoran uses her spiritual mind to communicate with White Fairy. "I haven't thanked you yet. If you didn't teach me the art of controlling animals, I wouldn't have accepted Goldie as a great help." Although she can ride on the sword, Lin Luoran is happy to accept Goldie, which looks fierce but is cute. "You are so lucky to meet such a young golden hawk. It will become more powerful in the future. Just wait for a few years." Lin Luoran answers, "Yes." She is both grateful and afraid of White Fairy. She can fly out of the abyss with the sword riding spell, but White Fairy gives her the precious primary instruction of swords. Even so, why does White Fairy want to teach her how to tame Goldie? Lin Luoran never believes that there is nothing good in the world without a reason. The more White Fairy gives her, the more she wants from her. Lin Luoran doesn't believe that White Fairy only wants to get out of the abyss. Lin Luoran hesitates for a while and vaguely expresses the preciousness of the primary instruction of swords. White Fairy is speechless for a while and then smiles. Chapter 103. So, the primary instruction has something to do with Wenguanjing? Lin Luoran is embarrassed. White Fairy doesn't want to talk about her purpose, so Lin Luoran has to stop talking about it. At this moment, she sees Goldie flying into the sky, looking alert. Li Shir is also full of peaches. She runs to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran looks up. It turns out that a group of long-haired monkeys are running up from the foot of the mountain. They are swinging among the peach trees very fast. In fact, this peach mountain is the territory of these monkeys. Because of the terrain, the peaches on the top of the mountain taste especially good. Sometimes the monkeys are reluctant to eat them. First, a little monkey finds Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran on the mountainside. It runs back to report the news. Finally, the little monkey army arrives. These monkeys are aggressive, but they are afraid of Goldie. They stop far away. The leading monkey shows its teeth. It seems that it is not willing to give up. After thinking for a while, it takes the lead to pick peaches and throws them to Lin Luoran and Li Shi. The monkey army follows suit. They pick peaches and throw them to Lin Luoran and Li Shi. They launch long-distance attacks, trying to drive Lin Luoran and Li Shi away. For a moment, the monkeys are screaming and the leaves of the peaches are flying all over the sky. The monkey army has enough ammunition, so their attack is really powerful. Of course, these peaches can't hit Lin Luoran. However, they irritate Goldie. It opens its claws and is about to tear a monkey into pieces. Lin Luoran stops it. With the bundling rope on Li's body, little things like peaches can't hit Li. Li thinks these monkeys are cute and agrees with Lin Luoran's decision to stop Goldie. Seeing that Goldie was angry, the leader of the monkeys whistled. The army of monkeys threw away the peaches in their hands and ran away with the wind. Sister, they are so fun. Shall we follow them and see their nest? Li Shi-er is a playful girl. Lin Luoran comes to the secret land to broaden her horizons, so she agrees with Li Shi-er. Li Shi-er can teleport and jump, so she doesn't need to bother Goldie. Both of them jump on top of the tree and follow the monkey army unhurriedly. From time to time, the army of monkeys would turn around to look. Seeing that the two humans and the condor were still following them, they were infuriated. From time to time, they would bare their fangs in a threatening manner and run even faster. Lin Luoran and Li Shi-er run over a mountain. The dense forest affects their speed. When the forest opens up again, the army of monkeys is gone. Li Shi-er is anxious. Lin Luoran tells her to be quiet. Xiao Jin had been monitoring from high up in the sky. At this moment, its usefulness was revealed. Following Xiao Jin's direction, the two chased after it. Arriving at a rocky mountain stream, Lin hears the sound of running water. Pushing aside the branches, there is a big waterfall. Goldie hovers over the waterfall and doesn't leave. She doesn't see a monkey, but Goldie hovers over the waterfall. Lin Luoran looks at Li Shi-er and they say at the same time, Water Curtain Cave? Water Curtain Cave. It turned out that they were all thinking the same thing. It seemed that Journey to the West still had its practical uses. Lin Luoran takes the lead and walks forward. Sure enough, an army of monkeys with water drops on their bodies rushes out of the waterfall. Seeing that they are holding stones in their hands, Lin Luoran touches her face. She and Li Shi-er were just being childish. Did they put too much pressure on the monkeys? Forget it. We will disturb them if we force our way in. When Lin Luoran is about to persuade Li Shi-er to leave, she sees a tall and big old monkey coming out of the waterfall. Its hair and beard are all white. A little monkey is holding it and walking upright. The old monkey looks like the god of longevity. The old monkey seems to be in poor health. It is so sick that it even bows to Lin Luoran and Li Shi-er politely. Lin Luoran is really shocked. The old monkey wobbles and makes a gesture to them. Lin Luoran doesn't want to leave right away. Besides, since the old monkey comes out, the army of monkeys has become less alert, although they are still holding stones in their hands. People who grew up reading the 4 classic novels all yearn for the Monkey King of the Mountain of Flowers and Fruits. Li Shi-er is a heartless person. She only knows to follow Lin Luoran's lead. Lin Luoran finally gives up. She asks Goldie to wait for them nearby. Lin Luoran and Li Shi-er follow the old monkey into the cave under the waterfall. Walking through the waterfall, Lin Luoran's hair is full of water, which makes the sword of bright snow in her hair even more crystal clear and attractive. This seems to be a natural passage. Because it is close to the waterfall, the passage is wet. Lin Luoran and Li Shi have to hold up their skirts to walk through it. The old monkey leads the way and turns around from time to time to wait for them. Lin Luoran notices that the old monkey will be out of breath when it walks too fast. Lin Luoran can't bear it, so she walks very slowly on purpose so that the old monkey can only walk slowly to wait for them. The old monkey seems to know what Lin Luoran is thinking. It turns around and waves its hand like a human, as if saying that it doesn't matter. However, it also starts to walk slowly, cooperating with Lin Luoran. The two of them have been walking in the passage for a long time. Li Shi is a bit afraid of such a quiet environment. However, Lin Luoran has a sharp feeling that they are walking into the belly of the mountain. Is the monkey's nest built in the belly of the mountain? Thinking of such an environment, Lin Luoran feels that the dark cave is boring. However, after turning 2 corners, the old monkey pushes open a stone door. Lin Luoran feels that the light is getting brighter. Following the old monkey into the stone gate, Lin Luoran, who is usually calm and composed, can't help but feel refreshed when she sees the scenery in front of her. Is this a masterpiece of nature? This is a very spacious cave, or a cave. It is about 200 or 300 meters in radius and 10 meters high. At the top of the cave, there is a big cave. The sunlight in the cave is dim, not gloomy at all. Milky white stalactites hang down from the top of the cave. There is a big tree in the middle of the cave. The tree has luxuriant branches and leaves. The trunk is 4 or 5 meters thick. The crown of the tree reaches to the top of the cave where the sun shines down. The sunlight is sparse and mottled on the stalactites, creating an unreal sense of beauty. As for the 4 or 5 meters thick trunk, it has been hollowed out and made into a house with many small windows. The old monkey is inviting them into the wooden house. The old monkey makes a please gesture and Lin Luoran and Li Xia walk in. The wooden house is dry and refreshing with the fragrance of fruits. It doesn't look like a place for a monkey. Well, in fact, Lin Luoran feels that the old monkey is no different from a human being except that it can't speak. Lin Luoran, Li Xi, and Li Xi sit on the wooden chair. After a while, they hear the monkeys outside the wooden house. Lin Luoran looks out of the window and finds that the other monkeys are coming in one after another. Besides, they are carrying all kinds of fruits in their hands. There are peaches, pears, bananas, and even some fruits that Lin Luoran and Li Xi have never seen before. When they are eating the fruits, the old monkey coughs again. Lin Luoran feels sorry for the white hair and beard of the monkey. She can't help but use her clear eyes to look at it. Chapter 104. In the eyes of cultivators, demonic cultivators were a different species. As the saying goes, behead demons and eliminate devils. The demons here referred to the different species that had set foot in the cultivation world, and the devils referred to the human cultivators whose cultivation methods had entered the demonic path. If when Guanjing were here, he would never follow the old monkey into the cave. If he were strong enough, he would have killed the old monkey. However, Lin Luoran and Li Xi don't know about these taboos. That's the difference in their views. In fact, this monkey was quite bold. It was injured, and it thought that even if it died together, it would at most drag one person down with it. As for the other cultivator left behind, he would definitely kill all of its kind. Therefore, the old monkey took a gamble and took the initiative to invite the 2 female cultivators to its cave abode. It was originally planning to spend money to avoid disaster. If they liked something, they could just take it. In the old monkey's eyes, it was worth it to save this group of little monkeys. As the old monkey has expected, the 2 female cultivators seem to be good-tempered. They don't want to kill them as soon as they meet. The old monkey is thinking about what gift to send the 2 human cultivators away. At this moment, Lin Luoran checks it, which makes the old monkey nervous again. Well, the old monkey not only has Reiki in its meridians, but also has a shadow in its lungs. Are you hurt? The old monkey is stunned. It can't deny that the female cultivator has seen through it, so it has to nod. Li Xi feels sorry for Lin Luoran. She looks at Lin Luoran with tears in her eyes, but she doesn't have the courage to avoid it. Lin Luoran ponders for a while. The nature of wood focuses on vitality. There is a healing spell of the nature of wood in the spells of the 5 elements. Lin Luoran hasn't tried it yet. However, according to the spell, the Reiki in her body will be consumed, there are many monsters in the secret land. Lin Luoran was able to subdue Goldie because Goldie's talent has not been awakened yet. Therefore, it will be very dangerous for Lin Luoran to run out of Reiki. Seeing that Lin Luoran doesn't respond, the old monkey feels relieved. It claps its hands and the monkey outside brings in 3 stone cups. The smell of wine permeates the air. Li Shi'er shouts, "Monkey wine. Do you know this wine?" Lin Luoran asks curiously. Li Shi'er nods and whispers something in Lin Luoran's ear. It turns out that Li Shi'er's school is also in the deep mountains. She is very active and often goes to the forest to play. The animals in the forest are often teased by her. One of the monkeys was found by Li Shi'er and she almost stole all the monkey wine brewed by others. The monkeys went to the gate of Li Shi'er's school every day to make trouble. Li Shi'er's master was alerted and she returned the wine to the monkeys. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Li Shi's words make Lin Luoran laugh. Of the monkey of Li Shi's school. However, in that case, this monkey wine was something very precious to monkeys, right? Lin of the monkey is of the monkey. Of the monkey of monkey of Li. This monkey wine is spirit wine. Li Shi'er burps, but Lin Luoran soon sees the essence of it. She thinks of her parents at home. This kind of spirit wine is mild and it is perfect for the health of her parents and little Luodong. She has to take some risks to get it, right? The health of her family is always what Lin Luoran cares about most. It is just a healing spell, which is a good deal for Lin Luoran. She knows that the old monkey can understand human language, so she doesn't beat around the bush and asks directly, "If you can give me some of this spirit wine, I have a way to cure your injury." The old monkey's eyes light up. Its lung injury has lasted for many days and no matter how many spirit herbs it has eaten, it can't be cured. If Lin Luoran can cure it, some spirit wine is nothing. The old monkey nods. Lin Luoran is not a talkative person. She asks Li Shi'er to protect her and recalls the gesture of the healing spell. The first gesture is to draw a half moon in the air. There are 108 gestures in total, which is the highest level spell Lin Luoran can cast. The secret land is full of Reiki, so spells are much more powerful than outside. When Lin Luoran finishes the 108 gestures, green light flashes on her fingertips. Green Reiki molecules gather together, which is very dazzling. The army of monkeys outside the cabin starts to shout again. Actually, Lin Luoran is having a hard time. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are the cycles of the world. Any spell involving healing is actually very exhausting. This is the fairness of the Tao of Heaven. It is said that the Tao of Heaven used to stop some elixirs when they were made. This shows that the Tao of Heaven is not satisfied with the interference of human life and death. The green light is getting brighter and Lin Luoran's forehead is sweating. Li Shi'er and the old monkey are looking at her with worry. White Fairy, who is hiding in the soul stone in the universal sack, is in a bad mood. Does this mean that this junior has the Taoist root of 3 natures? Lin Luoran has completely given up on her plan. In the age of spells, a junior with 3 natures is not even qualified to be an inner disciple. White Fairy even suspects that Lin Luoran has taken some elixir to preserve her looks. According to Lin Luoran's talent, it is impossible for her to cultivate to the late stage of training qi in her early 20s. Especially according to this junior, spells are in decline in the outside world. Lin Luoran doesn't know that she has temporarily dispelled one of White Fairy's plans. Wood Reiki overflows from her fingertips and benefits the hollow tree. Spells use one's own Reiki as a primer to mobilize the Reiki in the world. However, the healing spell can only be used by cultivators at the peak of training qi. Lin Luoran doesn't know the difference and uses it at the late stage of training qi. As a result, all Reiki in her body is drained, except for the fire Reiki that she has been using for a long time. With the remaining half of the void full moon, the healing spell comes to an end. The rolling green light is condensed into the size of a peach pit. Lin Luoran points her finger and the green light goes into the old monkey's lungs smoothly. It would be too fake to say that the spell could cure the disease. After all, It was a spell in the level of training chi, not a heaven-defying magic of a grand cultivator. However, it did stop the old monkey's coughing for a while. This ball of wood reiki with pure vitality would slowly heal the old monkey's injury in the next 2 or 3 days. Chapter 105. Sister Lin. Li calls her softly. Lin opens her eyes. The little monkey beside the old monkey is holding a stone cup. It is another cup of monkey wine. The difference is that the color of this cup is much darker, almost burgundy, and the reiki is abundant. Well, Lin Luoran is still in the mood to think of the joke about tea, and serve good tea. Isn't it too similar? Thinking of this, Lin still lowers her head and drinks the monkey wine which is full of reiki. In less than 3 minutes, Lin feels warm all over her body. The reiki consumed by the healing spell is being replenished little by little. Lin feels embarrassed. This is just like a potion in a game that can help her regain her mana. Lin Luoran has only 1 month in the secret land. There is no trace of other people within the sensing range of their jade pendants. Time limit means that Lin Luoran can't stay in one place for too long. When Lin Luoran is about to accept the gift and leave, she hears the screams of monkeys outside the cabin. The old monkey stands up first and rushes out of the room, ignoring its usual human politeness. Lin Luoran is still savoring the aroma of the spirit wine. She can't help but look out of the window. Li covers her mouth and exclaims. Lin Luoran narrows her eyes. It turned out that the monkeys from before had come in. They were different from the lively monkeys that threw peaches at them at the beginning. These monkeys were all injured, and the leader of the monkey army from before had the heaviest injury. His arm was hanging weakly by his side, and there were blood stains all over it. It seemed like his arm was broken. The old monkey knows how to stop bleeding. The little monkeys can recover with some spirit wine. However, the hand of the monkey army's leader is broken. If the bone is not set, it will be useless even if it recovers. Lin Luoran sighs and gets out of the cabin. She breaks 2 branches of equal thickness from the tree and finds a thin rope. She connects the bones of the monkey leader and puts a simple splint on it. Tell it that it must wear this splint until its arm is healed and the bone is healed. Do you understand? When Lin Luoran bandages the wound, the monkey army's leader feels a lot of pain. It's not hard to guess that it is in pain from the way it grimaces in pain. However, what are those sparkling tears at the corner of its eyes? The old monkey makes a gesture, and the leader of the monkey army nods to thank Lin. He looks at Lin Luoran with unprecedented kindness. Lin Luoran doesn't want to be a savior. However, in the real world, people always say that humans are primates and monkeys and chimpanzees are close relatives. Even if she cultivates, she still can't get rid of these inherent ideas. She has never hated monkeys, but she can only help them. She will try her best to cure them. The monkey leader's hand doesn't hurt so much now. He gestures to the old monkey and says something. Lin Luoran notices that the old monkey's face is getting darker and its eyes are getting red. After hearing what the monkey leader says, the old monkey rushes out regardless of Lin Luoran and the others. Of course, Li wants to follow them. She hasn't got the spirit wine yet. She can't let the old monkey die in front of her. Who can she ask for the wine from? Facing a group of weak monkeys, Li doesn't want to steal the spirit wine. It is much faster to go out than to come here. Soon they hear the sound of the waterfall. Soon, a curtain of water appears in front of Lin Luoran. Coming out from the belly of the mountain, Lin Luoran sees Goldie standing in the pond and confronting the old monkey. Lin Luoran finally lets out a sigh of relief. She has been worried that Goldie might have captured a few monkeys to show off its power since she hasn't come out for a long time. The one standing in front of the old monkey is not Goldie, but a 2-meter tall black bear with a big stick on its shoulder. It is the black bear that northerners often call a blind bear. Well, what level is the black bear protected by the country? Lin Luoran can't think of this at the moment. However, this is not the point. The point is that no one has ever seen a black bear challenge the monkey's cave with a big stick. Lin notices that the black bear is thick-skinned and has weapons in its hands. There is also reiki flowing in its body. Maybe it is the bear that injured the old monkey. However, The old monkey can't even defeat the black bear under normal circumstances. Now, the old monkey is still injured. If it gets hit a few more times, it will have to meet its ancestor, the great sage. Lin Luoran feels that her idea is too evil. However, the black bear starts to attack. Maybe bears are stupid. Seeing that there are 2 more helpers, it still dares to attack first. It is really stupid. However, to be exact, Li Shi-er is a helper. She has eaten the monkey's fruit and drunk the monkey wine. She is used to playing with the monkeys in the mountain. Seeing the monkeys, she only thinks they are cute. How can she let the old monkey get hurt again? Therefore, Li Shi-er sneakily attacks the black bear while it is waving its big stick. It is a pity that the copper bell on her fishing line is so loud that even a stupid bear knows to avoid it. The fishing line falls into the water. When Li takes it back, there is a carp that weighs about 2 or 3 kilograms tied to the end of the fishing line, and it is still alive. Lin Luoran wonders if staying with Li Shi-er for too long will affect her IQ. Ahem, sister, let's help the old monkey. Li Shi-er realizes that her attack has failed. She remembers that Lin Luoran is with her and asks for help immediately. Lin Luoran has been taking care of her all the way. Li Shi-er thinks that Lin Luoran can handle such a small matter. However, Lin Luoran shakes her head and says, "Sister, I used up all my Reiki to heal the old monkey. You are the only one who can do it." Li Shi-er is stunned. She just remembers that Lin Luoran has helped a lot. She is so heartless to ask Lin Luoran to help. But the black bear is so tall. Before Li Shi-er makes a move, she remembers that she was in a stalemate with Goldie on the cliff. Can she really defeat the black bear? Li Shi-er, who is as brave as a rabbit when it comes to serious matters, hesitates and then gives up. While Li Shi-er is still hesitating, the old monkey can't stand it anymore. It gets hit by the black bear's stick and falls into the water. The water is full of blood. Li Shi-er can't tell whether the old monkey is still alive or not. Li Shi-er holds the bundling rope tightly and suddenly cries. At this moment, she remembers that Lin Luoran threw her on the rock and she fell into the abyss. Although Lin Luoran is fine in the end, if Li Shi-er was braver and more mature, she might have been able to catch Lin Luoran. With tears on her face, Li Shi-er jumps forward and throws the bundling rope to stop the black bear. She casts spells with her right hand at an unprecedented speed. When the black bear pounces on her with the stick, Li Shi-er shouts, "Cicada wing," and attacks the bear with the spell Lin Luoran used to roast the rabbit. Although Li Shi-er is not cruel enough, at least she has made the first step. Lin Luoran sighs. White Fairy, who is hiding in the universal sack, laughs. Chapter 106. Is she a good person? Lin Luoran has never thought of herself as a good person in the traditional sense. Looking at Li, who narrowly avoids the bear's attack, Lin Luoran refuses to admit that she is a good person. Well, I just hope that one less person will hold me back. Lin Luoran says that she won't help, but she still cares about the old monkey. At least she hasn't received a gift yet. With the pond here, Lin Luoran has recovered enough Reiki to cast a simple water spell. A water rope emerges from the pool. Lin Luoran pulls the old monkey over. Lin Luoran takes a look at the old monkey. She is shocked by its terrible condition. The monkey's face is covered with blood and its body is limp. The army of monkeys has been hopping around, unable to help. Seeing that the old monkey is saved by Lin Luoran, they all gather around and some of them are crying. Lin Luoran puts her hand under the bear's nose. She is speechless. Li Sierra is also paying attention to this. She casts a spell of gold on the bear and asks anxiously, "Sister Lin, how is the old monkey?" Lin Luoran lowers her eyelids and says, "Dead?" The old monkey, who had just served them fruits and spiritual wine, was dead. Li's eyes are red. The bear takes advantage of her carelessly and hits her right hand with a stick. Although Li rolls into the pool and avoids the stick, her shoulder is still hit by the end of the stick. When she gets up from the pool, her right hand is so painful that she can't even lift it up, let alone make a gesture to cast spells. Lin Luoran narrows her eyes. She has already cast a spell of sword. If Li Sierra is in danger, She will kill the bear with her snow sword. The bear roars and raises its stick fiercely. As usual, Li Xier panics and Lin Luoran is ready to take action. What should she do? Li Xier's mind is blank. How can she subdue the bear when she can't move her right hand? I still have my left hand. In a split second, Li's body tilted to one side. Black Bear's stick hit her right side from her face. She groaned as the stick hit her already injured right hand. Li Xier feels that her right hand may be disabled. It hurts so much, but she insists on doing what she wants. The bear squints its eyes. Now is the time. A small golden knife flies out of Li's left hand and hits the bear's eyes accurately. Golden knife spell can only be used by people in the middle stage of training Qi. The bear, who only has great strength but doesn't know any spells, can't resist it. The bear wails in pain. Its eyes are ruined. Li Xier is exhausted, but she still uses the bundling rope to tie the bear tightly while it is rolling in the pond. Then she collapses in the water. Lin Luoran knows that Li will win when she uses the golden blade spell. She dispels the Reiki on her fingertips and asks the monkeys to carry the old monkey back. Half of Li's body is in the water, and her right hand is totally numb. Seeing Lin standing by the water and looking at her, Li cries, "Sister, am I too cruel?" Lin Luoran doesn't help her. She sits on a stone beside the pool and says calmly, "You destroying its eyes is indeed cruel to it, but to these monkeys, it is indeed a great kindness. For the sake of the spirit wine brewed by the monkeys, this black bear would come every few days to cause trouble. Every time, there would be casualties among the monkeys. It is indeed a great enemy for them. That's how cultivation is. Whether you're good or evil, and what you should do with your spells, it all depends on your choice." He hoped that Li Xier could understand that not all killings were bad. Li Xier is silent for a while. "Sister? Thank you." She was just a little naive, but she wasn't a fool. If they didn't really care about her, who would spend the effort to teach her these principles? "Sister, how do you know all this?" Li asks suspiciously. How could Lin Luoran know all this in such a short time? Seeing that Li has thought it through, Lin Luoran doesn't answer right away. Instead, she stands up and walks a few steps. Then she turns around and blinks at Li. "The old monkey told me." "Well, can the old monkey talk?" "I've been with Lin all the time, but it never talked about these things. Except when Lin Luoran was fighting with the black bear. The old monkey was dead at that time." Li remembers that Lin Luoran winked at her naughtily. Then she yells, "Sister, you lied to me." Lin Luoran laughs. "Come on. It will really die if you don't come back." Li jumps up from the pond and shakes off the water like a proud rooster. Her right hand is injured, but it is a glorious injury, right? "Sister, wait for me." Li runs after Lin Luoran with her arms crossed. Lin Luoran's dress flashes in the corner of the waterfall. Lin Luoran has already entered the cave. In the cabin, the old monkey is lying on a chair to heal its wound with a ruddy face. After Lin Luoran's treatment, Li Xier is jumping up and down. She points at the old monkey and yells, "So you can talk and you are still alive at that time? You lied to me?" The old monkey coughs and says, "Fairy, please don't be angry." Li Xier is angry for a long time. She thought that the old monkey was dead, so she went to fight the fierce and strong black bear. However, the old monkey looks refreshed now. It turns out that Sister Lin knew that it was fine and they worked together to deceive her. Li Xier is angry for a long time. It was indeed injured at that time, but it was different from its previous internal injuries. Those injuries looked dangerous, but they were actually very easy to recover from. As for talking, if you hadn't gone to save it, Elder Monkey wouldn't have been able to bear to see you get hurt by the black bear and begged me to help. Even I was fooled by it. The old monkey blushes and says, "I'm so sorry. Fairies, you are different from the human cultivators in the legend. You are both kind-hearted. I'm sorry for being a villain." Li Xier laughs again. "You're not a human. You're a monkey in vain." "Yes, little monkey. Fairy is right." The old monkey bows its hands. Lin Luoran can tell that it likes Li Xier very much. It even likes Lin Luoran, the one who cured its wound. Li Shi'er is amused by the old monkey. After a while, she remembers what they are here for. She looks at Lin Luoran and asks, "Sister, can't we stay here for one more day?" "One more day means 2 more days for you. We don't have enough time." The old monkey loses its spirit. Aborigines like them all know that human cultivators can only come here for 1 month every 100 years. It is impossible for them to go out. That is to say, if they say goodbye now, they will never see each other again. Lin Luoran is quite doubtful about this, but she doesn't have much time. The old monkey cheers up and takes them to the pond where the monkey wine is stored. Well, looking at the glitter of different quality monkey wine in 3 deep, large and connected stone ponds, Lin Luoran is dazzled. She admits that she can understand the mood of the drunkard a little bit. This kind of spirit wine is even useful for Lin's cultivation. Lin Luoran is more interested in it than a drunkard. The old monkey seems to be sad. It tells Lin Luoran to make the wine casually. Li Shi'er sticks out her tongue and says, "We don't have jars." "Yes, it is easy to make wine jars." Lin Luoran asks the monkeys to dig a lot of clay for her. She uses the spell of the nature of earth to make wine jars. Lin Luoran uses the spell of the nature of earth the least. She can't control the jars precisely, so the wine jars are all square. Lin Luoran comforts herself that she can make more square jars. Lin Luoran uses the improved spell of Fireball to make a square Lin Luoran wine jar. Although there are no flowers or birds on the jar, the temperature of the fireball is high enough to make it a porcelain jar. The old monkey keeps asking Lin Luoran to make more wine jars. It seems that it is going to give Lin Luoran a lot of wine. Considering the space of the universal sack, Lin Luoran makes 12 wine jars. 3 kinds of monkey wine of different years are different. Lin Luoran is going to share the wine with Li Shi'er. However, Li Shi'er is reluctant to give up her clothes in the universal sack, so she only takes 4 jars. Lin Luoran throws away all the food in the universal sack and puts away the remaining 8 jars. The space of the universal sack is full. Even the soul stone of White Fairy is pushed to the corner. Li Shi'er is reluctant to part with Lin Luoran. She only thinks that Lin Luoran is powerful. She doesn't notice that Lin Luoran has used spells of the nature of wood, water, earth, and fire. Chapter 107. Li leads the half-dead black bear. Now it is really a blind bear. She looks back every 3 steps and leaves the water curtain cave of the monkeys. Lin Luoran looks at the old monkey who is standing at the entrance of the cave. She sends a strand of her spiritual mind to the old monkey and tells it how to practice spells of the 5 elements. After a while, the old monkey is so excited that Lin Luoran shakes her head to tell it not to say anything. This old monkey clearly had spiritual qi in his body, but he didn't know how to use it. Thus, he was suppressed by the black bear who came to challenge him. They were both demons that had just gained intelligence, but the black bear had an advantage in terms of talent and strength. How could this thin and weak old monkey deal with it? Lin Luoran gives the old monkey some spells because she believes that it is better to teach a man to fish than to give him a fish. They can help the monkeys defeat the black bear, but they can't protect the monkeys for the rest of their lives. When the Bear King comes back, no one can guarantee that there won't be Tiger Kings and Leopard Kings who covet the monkey wine. Therefore, Lin Luoran wants to help the old monkey open the door of cultivation as soon as possible, which is the most fundamental help for the monkeys. Although these are just some basic spells of the 5 elements, it is easy to understand the application of the power of the 5 elements because of the basics. As for what the old monkey can learn from these spells, Lin Luoran can't guarantee. Holding the black bear in her right hand and a stone box in her left hand, Li Shi'er says suspiciously, "Before we left, the old monkey gave me a box. I don't know what it is." Holding the black bear, she hands the box to Lin Luoran. As soon as Lin Luoran takes the box, she feels Reiki coming from the gap of the box. Did the old monkey give Li something? Lin Luoran is curious. She opens the box and Reiki comes out. There are 2 mushrooms, one big and one small. Mushrooms? Li Shi'er loses interest immediately. It is better to give her some peaches. White Fairy chuckles, "Monkey mushroom." The old monkey is interesting. Lin Luoran also asks shamelessly with her spiritual mind, Fairy, do you know this monkey mushroom? I can see that it is full of Reiki. What is it for? Why didn't the old monkey eat this monkey mushroom when it was injured? White Fairy snorts, you don't have a good aptitude. You don't even know that this is the primer for making foundation-laying bolus. Otherwise, the old monkey wouldn't have pretended to be silent. Lin Luoran doesn't tell White Fairy about the lost formula of foundation-laying bolus. Maybe she can get the formula from her? For the first time, Lin Luoran feels that she is a little sinister. She closes the box and asks casually, the monkey mushroom alone is useless. It's not easy to collect all the other medicinal materials. White Fairy says weakly, are you really going to make foundation-laying bolus by yourself? No matter how dangerous the outside world is, your school can't even afford a foundation-laying bolus, can they? After saying this, White Fairy suddenly chokes. The Taoist root of 5 natures. Even in her generation, schools would not give foundation-laying bolus. White Fairy feels sorry for Lin Luoran. If you want to make elixirs by yourself, you can spend the whole month looking for spirit herbs. If you are lucky, you might be able to get what you want, such as 7-star grass, luminous sand, butterfly bush flower. While White Fairy is talking, Li Shi has no idea that Lin Luoran is at a critical moment. Seeing that Lin Luoran is still standing there, Li Shi can't help but ask, Sister Lin, where are we going with the black bear? Lin Luoran has to let go of this idea for now. Otherwise, White Fairy will get suspicious. Who knows what she will do for the prescription of bolus? However, there seems to be a place marked on the jade slip for the luminous sand, and it is not far from here. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran tells Li Shi, put this stone box away. It is a gift from the old monkey. It is a very precious spirit mushroom. As for the black bear, we are going to get the trophies. Li doesn't care about the mushroom. Instead, she is interested in the trophies Lin Luoran is talking about. Are we going to the black bear's nest? After getting the answer, Li pushes the stone box to Lin Luoran again. Sister, the old monkey gave us 2 mushrooms. Of course, 1 for each of us. You can keep it. Lin Luoran smiles. She doesn't say no. The mushroom is the guiding drug for making foundation-laying bolus. Lin Luoran needs it very much. The black bear's nest is on the other side of the Peach Mountain where Lin Luoran and the monkey's water curtain cave. Goldie has been hovering around the Peach Mountain all day. Smelling Lin Luoran's breath, it flies down. Seeing that they are carrying a black bear, Goldie, who is so bored with eating peaches, pounces on them without hesitation. Li covers her eyes. Lin Luoran wants to stop Goldie, but she hesitates and decides not to. Goldie is not a vegetarian. Lin Luoran can't ask a bird to eat fruits every day, can she? The black bear screams. Goldie's beak is so sharp that even the bear's thick skin can't stop it. Goldie pecks the bear's chest and eats the bear's gallbladder. Seeing that Goldie will not stop until it is full, Lin Luoran can't bear to see Goldie tearing the black bear apart. Lin Luoran takes Li's hand and rides on the sword to cross the Peach Mountain first. Well, the bear's paw is good. Should she ask Goldie to be merciful? Lin Luoran is not a Taoist. The black bear just absorbs Reiki into its body over time in such an environment. It can't speak like the old monkey. However, Lin Luoran doesn't have the psychological barrier of killing people casually. If that's the case, Lin Luoran should just stop eating meat in the future. Who knows if a chicken or a fish can also become a Taoist one day. The old monkey certainly knows where the black bear's cave is, so it gives Lin Luoran a clear landmark. Looking down from the sword, it is easy to find the cave. It is a natural cave. Lin Luoran and Li search in the air. After a while, they see 3 crooked trees. Lin Luoran rides on the sword. Before she picks up the sword, she smells the stench of the black bear's cave. Li Shi'er laughs and says, Sister, I'll keep watch for you. Lin Luoran shakes her head. She is not a thief. She doesn't need a lookout. This little girl is afraid of getting dirty. Well, it is the only owner of the black bear's cave. It has already become Goldie's food. Since there is no danger, it is okay for Lin Luoran to go alone. After walking for a few steps, the stench is so bad that Lin Luoran has to use Reiki to cast a cleaning spell. After the stench is gone, Lin Luoran casts a spell and a small flame appears on her fingertip. She is indeed using the fire spell to light up the cave. The black bear's cave is deep, but it is not as good as the monkey's cave. There is a waterfall outside and a natural karst cave inside. Lin Luoran is satisfied with the ventilation and light. Lin Luoran thinks unkindly that the reason why the black bear has troubled the monkeys so many times is that it also wants the excellent water curtain cave of the monkeys. The stench in the black bear's cave is dispelled by Lin Luoran. She walks deeper and deeper into the cave. She sees an open area with a radius of 5 meters. The ground is covered with weeds. It seems that this is the place where the black bear usually rests. However, didn't the old monkey say that there are treasures in the black bear's cave? Lin Luoran can see nothing but weeds in this place. When Lin Luoran is confused, White Fairy suddenly says, "Put out the fire." Put out the fire? Lin Luoran pauses. With her eyesight, it is not difficult for her to see things in the dark. It is just a habit of her to want light in the dark. Chapter 108. Sister Lin, is there anything good in it? After spending a few days with Lin, Li knows that Lin is cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Most of the time, she is cold. If she is smiling, it means she is in a good mood. Thinking of what she got in the bear cave, Lin can't hide her smile. Hearing Li's question, Lin teases her, "If you didn't go there before, I won't share it with you now." Li stomps her feet. Lin Luoran has got something good, but she doesn't know about it. Li is really annoyed. Lin Luoran pretends not to notice her anxiousness. Goldie has enjoyed the bear meat and is practicing the pose of golden eagle standing on a big tree. Hearing Lin's call, Goldie rushes down. Lin Luoran touches Goldie's head and takes out a weed she got from the black bear's nest. She throws it to Goldie. Goldie swallows it directly. It seems that he is satisfied with the weed. Lin Luoran feeds Goldie so fast that Li doesn't see it clearly. She becomes more curious. Originally, Lin Luoran didn't want to look for elixirs like luminous sand. However, what she got in the black bear's cave makes her make up her mind. Now that there is a glimmer of hope for the foundation-laying bolus, she should look for luminous sand even if it is not on her way. Lin Luoran looks at the jade map carefully and compares the location marked in the jade map with the current terrain. The bat cave with luminous sand is in the east. Although it is not far from here, it is in 2 different directions compared with the exit. That is to say, the bat cave is close to the inner circle of the secret land. According to the jade map, the bat cave is exactly at the junction of the so-called danger zone and the safety zone. Lin Luoran can't decide for Li's life, so she tells Li the location and danger of the bat cave. However, Li is determined to follow Sister Lin. She doesn't want to find Wen Guanjing and others by herself. Lin Luoran doesn't waste time. She summons Goldie, who has just digested the weed, and they fly to the east. Goldie is not as fast as riding on a sword, but Lin Luoran doesn't have to worry about running out of Reiki. Except for the fact that Lin Luoran once sensed an unusually powerful breath near a black pool, she told Goldie to speed up and take a detour. Their journey is actually very smooth. Sitting on Goldie's back, Lin Luoran holds back the fear in her heart and looks back. They have already flown more than 10 miles away. A roar comes from the large black pool and the mud is rolling. A double-headed boa raises its head from the pool and looks at the direction where Lin Luoran and Goldie escaped. The boa hesitates for a while. In the end, it seems that Lin Luoran, and Goldie can only be a dessert, not a main course. Finally, the boa gives up chasing. The 2 heads of the boa look exactly the same. When it is thinking, its scarlet eyes are so cold. Lin Luoran doesn't see it with her own eyes, so she can't feel it. Eagles and snakes have always been enemies. Since the boa showed up, Goldie's short hair on its neck has stood up. It only feels that its parents didn't give it 2 pairs of wings. Its flying speed is doubled. After flying over several mountains, Goldie can no longer feel the cold breath of the boa and it gradually calms down. Lin Luoran and her servant feel that they have escaped from death. Both of them are relieved. Only Li Shio, whose level is not high enough, is sitting on the back of the eagle and looking around. She is proud of Goldie's flying speed. She even wonders whether she should peck a bird like Goldie and take it with her. After this false alarm, Lin Luoran is very careful when choosing the route. There are monsters hiding in the deep mountains and swamps. She tries her best to let Goldie fly in a flat and open area, which saves them a lot of trouble. Even so, when Lin Luoran and Goldie are about to arrive at their destination, it has been 5 days since they left the cave of the Black Bear. Taking into account the time they spent in the Abyss and the Monkey Mountain, it has been 10 days since they entered the Secret Land. There are still 20 days left. They also need to go back to the exit and get the luminous sand. Do they still have time to collect the rest of the spirit medicines? The landmark of the Bat Cave is easy to recognize. In the beautiful mountains, there is a lonely peak that looks like Optimus Prime. The peak goes straight into the clouds. For some reason, there is no grass on the peak. The surface of the peak is smooth like a polished mirror because of the wind. What surprises Lin more is that Goldie just hovers in the air. It seems that it doesn't want to land on the Optimus Prime. Goldie doesn't know what is buried under the mountain. They can only land on a nearby peak. Lin Luoran planned to fly up on her sword. However, the Sword of Bright Snow loses its command and can't move forward. Lin Luoran doesn't think it is serious if only Goldie and the Sword of Bright Snow are behaving strangely. The bigger problem is that Lin Luoran doesn't get any response from the Encyclopedia White Fairy. The Soul Stone is lying quietly in Lin Luoran's universal sack. What on earth is in this mirror-like peak? The Soul Stone scared Goldie away, disturbed the Sword of Bright Snow, and even cut off the connection between Lin and White Fairy. Lin Luoran's eyes are gloomy. Should she go or not? The luminous sand is an important and irreplaceable Reiki material in the foundation-laying bolus. If she gives up now, she can't guarantee that she can find the 1,000-year-old luminous sand when she gets out. Looking at Li Shi, who is ignorant, Lin Luoran has an excuse in an instant. Goldie is throwing a tantrum. I guess it is tired of flying these days. Take it to rest nearby and wait for me. Li Shi is stupid, but she knows that the Sword of Bright Snow can't fly. She is hesitant about Lin Luoran's excuse. Li Shi wants to ask Lin Luoran again, but she can't defeat Lin Luoran's influence on her. Li Shi is coaxed by Lin Luoran and leaves with Goldie reluctantly. Lin Luoran takes a look at the towering peak. Since the Jade Sheet says that there is luminous sand here, someone must have come here to get it. Lin Luoran makes a gesture and a ray of water flashes. It seems that the spells of the 5 elements are not restricted here. This peak is feasible. Since she can't ride on the sword, she can only rely on her feet. Lin Luoran climbs a few steps and finds that the peak is as slippery as it looks. It is hard for her to walk on it. She takes 2 balls of wet mud and sticks them on the soles of her feet. Then she casts a small spell of the Earth series called Subsidence. The 2 balls of mud soften and Lin Luoran wants to sink into the ground. However, the ground is as smooth as a mirror. Without the help of mud, the mud can only hold Lin Luoran tightly. It is impossible to sink her into the ground. Seeing that this plan is feasible, Lin Luoran jumps up high. Every time she falls, she will cover a distance of 4 or 5 meters. Though it is a little troublesome to use the ground sinkage, when she is falling, she can still vaguely see the top of the mountain after an hour. The peak is hidden in the clouds. Lin Luoran doesn't know what is wrong with the bats. Why did they choose such a lonely place as their nest? After exploring for a while, Lin Luoran finds a cave with the height of 2 people on the west side of the peak. The cave is long and narrow. It must be the nest of the bats. If the cave of the Black Bear stinks, Lin Luoran can smell the musty smell standing at the entrance of the Bat Cave. Yes, it is the kind of musty smell that never sees the sun all year round. Chapter 109. In the deep tunnel, Lin Luoran's footsteps are almost inaudible. Since the Sword of Bright Snow will be disturbed in the area of the Lonely Peak, Lin Luoran can only use spells to guard against it. It is common sense that fire will stimulate the bats, so Lin Luoran doesn't use illumination. Lin Luoran thought it was just a bat cave, but the terrain is getting lower and lower. Lin Luoran wonders if she missed the bottom of the mountain when she explored before. Maybe the bottom of the mountain is connected to the cave at the top of the mountain. However, it is useless to regret now. The deeper she goes, the more spacious the cave becomes. It is more convenient for Lin Luoran to walk. The only thing was that she hadn't seen a bat cave after walking for so long. Were they all resting in their nest, or did something unexpected happen? There must be something wrong. Lin Luoran walks down and becomes more vigilant. The terrain gradually opens up. Lin Luoran smiles bitterly. It seems that the bat cave is at the foot of the mountain, but it takes her twice the time to come back. But why is it still so quiet? With her eyesight, Lin Luoran can see that the passage is gradually widening and winding downward, spiraling to the bottom of the mountain. Needless to say, it is dark and mysterious. What makes her nervous is that the passage is so regular that it doesn't seem to be formed naturally. What is waiting for her in the cave at the bottom of the mountain? It is easy to go up the mountain but difficult to go down. Lin Luoran has to be on guard on one side, so it takes her twice more time to walk down the winding tunnel than to go up the mountain. Lin Luoran can't help frowning. It has been 3 hours since she entered the lonely peak, but she hasn't even seen a bat's leg hair. This is not a very good sign. Hey, there is the sound of running water. Lin Luoran stops and listens. After making sure it is right, she can't help but speed up. After making 2 more turns, she finally sees the open terrain. This is a large karst cave hidden under the mountainside. It is also filled with stalactites. The stalactites in the monkey's cave are as beautiful as a dream, but here it is dark and makes people feel cold. The sound of running water that Lin Luoran heard before is next to it. It is an underground river that is not very rapid. Along the underground river, there is a cave entrance. It must be another hidden exit. Lin Luoran is not in the mood to explore. There is a huge smooth stone platform in the cave. 2 people are lying on it. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether they are alive or not. If this wasn't enough, then the piles of skeletons scattered on both sides of the stone platform were shocking. Those were clearly skulls, which meant that these skeletons didn't belong to animals. Lin Luoran gasps. This is not a bat cave. It is a den of devils. Far away from the stone platform, there are a few scattered bats hanging upside down on the stalactites. It seems that they haven't noticed Lin Luoran, the uninvited guest, and are taking a nap with their eyes closed. Below them, a thick layer of luminous sand, or to put it simply, bat feces as high as half a person, appears in Lin's sight. There was so much luminous sand, it was obviously not something that these bats could accumulate over a long period of time. Did the other bats go out to hunt? Lin Luoran clenches her fists. She is not sure whether she should check the 2 people on the platform first or take the luminous sand and leave. The bats will come back at any time. Lin Luoran thinks quickly. She glances at the 2 people on the platform first. One of them has brown hair, and the other has blonde hair. They are not from the state of Huaxia. Well, although they look familiar, Lin Luoran is not a good person. She has to save everyone she sees. Let's wait and see. Lin Luoran breathes a sigh of relief and makes a decision quickly. Take the luminous sand first. Bats are blind and they locate their prey by sound waves. Lin Luoran doesn't lower her vigilance just because they are napping. Instead, Lin Luoran approaches the bats very carefully and takes out a small jar that she prepared in advance. Lin Luoran uses the jar of bright snow to dig the black feces slowly. Bat feces stinks when heated. However, as Lin Luoran slowly digs down, she finds that the feces have turned into black crystals 1 foot below. This is the luminous sand which can be used as medicine. Lin Luoran estimates that it has been around for hundreds of years. Lin Luoran's eyes flash with joy. She continues to dig carefully. When she is halfway through, she finds some white crystals. They are small and white, just a little bigger than white sugar. They are the luminous sand that she is looking for this time. She doesn't know what is controlling the white fairy and she can't get in touch with her now. Therefore, the secret of her space is less taboo. There are 2 small jars of monkey wine left. After filling 1 jar, Lin becomes greedy. Suddenly, it occurs to her that she hasn't reached the bottom yet. There are already luminous sand over 1,000 years old. Lin Luoran puts the jar full of luminous sand into her space and digs down again. As expected, under the white layer, there are light yellow crystals. Under the light yellow, the yellow crystals are transparent, almost as brilliant as the crystals. Lin Luoran is overjoyed. She takes some of both jars and sighs that this trip is worthwhile. However, she doesn't notice that a black eye flashes in the air beside the stone platform where the two people are lying. Soon it disappears. Lin Luoran fills the two jars and feels satisfied. She cleans the sword of bright snow. Not only has the main purpose of this trip been achieved, but she also has an unexpected gain. Should she go out of the cave to avoid unnecessary trouble or figure out why these two people are here? Thinking of the white bones, Lin Luoran feels her blood freeze. Forget it. It's not easy to be a good person. It's better to be a good person. Lin Luoran is a good person. However, she takes care of her compatriots. According to Wen Guanjing, these foreign cultivators will not show any mercy to Huaxia cultivators in the secret land. Lin Luoran should be grateful that she doesn't hit them when they are down. Why should she save two enemies for Huaxia? Lin Luoran is about to go out along the underground river. However, she hears a female voice in the murmuring water. Lin Luoran has to stop and hide behind a tall stalactite subconsciously. Dana, we have to hurry up. Those bloodbats will come back soon. The voice speaks fast with a British accent. As soon as the voice stops, Lin Luoran can see them. It's true that enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. It's Crystal and her companion, a handsome man from the bloodline, who look like a noble. Lin Luoran holds her breath carefully and relaxes her body and mind. Under the cover of darkness, she seems to blend in with the background. Crystal walks straight to the platform. Lin Luoran suddenly realizes why she feels that these two people look familiar. They are Crystal's followers. Detecting that the two people are still alive, Crystal's cold face smiles. She and Dana each hold the hands of one of the two people and transfer the special power of their kind to them. The two vampires soon wake up. Miss Crystal, I'm so sorry for disturbing you. The two vampires wake up. Their first reaction is to apologize when they see who is coming. Their faces are full of fear. It seems that they are really afraid of Crystal. Seeing that Crystal is about to lose her temper, Dana has to remind her, let's get out of here first. Seeing Crystal's impatience, Dana is speechless. If she didn't want the bloodbats, these two people wouldn't have risked their lives to enter the cave. Since they are in trouble because of Crystal, Dana thinks that it's reasonable to save them. Crystal is not worth following. Dana comes to a conclusion in his mind. The four of them are about to go out when Crystal's ears twitch. Her pale face changes color. They are back. Them? Lin Luoran tightens her body. She is about to rush out of the cave before Crystal and her companions. Considering the speed of the vampires on the sea platform, Lin Luoran is not sure if she can defeat them. Crystal and her companions rush out of the underground river. It seems that they want to get out before the bats enter the cave. Lin Luoran holds her breath. Though she doesn't know why Crystal and her companions are so afraid of the bats, Lin Luoran decides to go back the way they came. Lin Luoran doesn't know how dangerous the bats are. Li Shi-er, who is guarding the mountain nearby, widens her eyes in horror. Chapter 110. Lin Luoran is about to leave when she hears Crystal scream. The four vampires have come back the way they came. Seeing the bats chasing after them, Lin Luoran pauses. She really doesn't want to show up and become a free target for the bats. Thanks to this, Lin Luoran finally sees the attacking methods of the vampires. The four vampires are forced back into the cave. As more and more bats the size of owls come, Crystal grows a pair of bat-like wings on her back. Her eyes turn red and she screams so loud that ordinary people can't hear her. This is a sound wave attack. Lin Luoran hides behind a rock. A wave of invisible sound waves hits her face. Lin Luoran feels a tingling pain in her spiritual mind and doesn't dare to probe further. At this moment, Crystal's sound waves collide with the bat's sound waves. Obviously, the young lady of the vampires is also very powerful. She has the upper hand in this head-on collision. The bats that are entering the cave all fall down and cover the ground. There are more than 100 of them dead or injured. Dana, however, doesn't look happy. Crystal, we shouldn't provoke them, Crystal snorts. Do we have a choice now? Dana's face is cold. The two vampires are trembling with fear. The three of them all choose to transform. Lin Luoran has sharp eyes. Though they all have wings on their backs, Crystal's wings are mixed with golden threads and Dana's wings are like silver threads. However, the other two vampires only have black wings. Is it because of the difference in their bloodline? Lin Luoran doesn't know how she has the time to think about this. She keeps these subtle differences in mind. After Dana and the other two vampires join the battle, they are like a hot knife through butter. Many bats are killed or injured. Lin Luoran is relieved. There are so many bats. As long as they occupy the entrance, they can take their time to kill them. It is not impossible to win. What is strange is that Crystal and the others don't relax. Soon, Lin Luoran finds that there seems to be no end to the bats. As soon as one dies, more bats come. What's more, a large number of bats appear on the path Lin Luoran took. Lin Luoran's plan to leave quietly has failed. Now there are bats at both exits. Dana has to deal with the bats on this side with another bloodline. There is a gap in the defense line of the four. A bat takes advantage of the gap and bites the arm of the bloodline next to Crystal, sucking blood. These were vampire bats. Lin Luoran frowns. What's more, these bats even suck the blood of the bloodline. Obviously, they are mutants. No, when the four of them are exhausted, she will be the one trapped. Lin Luoran makes a decision immediately. With a flash of sword light, the vampire bat on the bloodline man's arm is cut into two and falls to the ground. The other bats smell the blood and swoop down. Soon, they suck the dead vampire's skin and bones. Crystal looks at Lin and says, "Miss Lin, you finally show up." Lin Luoran uses her blood sword to block the attack. She kills several bats that are too close to her and nods to Crystal. She didn't show it on her face, but she actually felt very helpless in her heart. It turned out that the young lady of the blood kindred had already noticed her. If she had really been hiding all this time, she would have been a villain in vain. Let's work together to deal with the bats first. We can talk about our business when we get out of here. Lin Luoran doesn't care whether Crystal can understand Chinese or not. She is not a girl from the Qing dynasty. There is no reason for her to accommodate the British bloodline. The more we kill, the more bats there will be. We can't kill them all. We have to work together to get out. Obviously, Crystal not only understands Chinese but also replies in non-standard Chinese. Lin Luoran looks at her in surprise and Crystal smiles proudly. The five of them gradually gather together. Lin Luoran's fireball spell is aimed at the places where there are many bats. The high temperature of the fireball spell is obviously a good way to deal with the bats. When the bats are fluttering, they inevitably get infected by other bats. The effect of the fireball spell is no less than that of Crystal's sound wave attack. The look on Crystal's face changes. Suddenly, she smiles imperceptibly. Lin Luoran kills a bat that wants to bite her with her sword. She doesn't notice Crystal's strange expression. Because Lin Luoran has joined the fight, Dana and the other two feel relieved. They don't know what Crystal is thinking, but Dana has more in mind. This Huaxia female cultivator surnamed Lin is obviously more powerful than the famous St. Is she the backbone of the Huaxia secretly cultivated? Lin Luoran looks at the endless bats and frowns. Crystal and the other three people are good at speed and sound wave attacks, which are not advantageous to the bats. Obviously, fire attacks are the most lethal to the bats. However, Lin Luoran has a limited amount of Reiki in her body. She can't use it without restraint. Should she use that spell? Lin Luoran thinks of the feeling of exhaustion after using the healing spell. She is worried about leaving her defenseless body to Crystal. Lin Luoran kills two bats with her sword. She decides to wait and see. If it weren't for the suppression of the sword of bright snow in this strange mountain, it would be much easier to open the magic circle inside the sword of bright snow. Lin Luoran is thinking. Crystal blinks its eyes and shakes its wings. The infrasound in its mouth turns to attack Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is stunned. Then she holds her head and groans. Dana says angrily, "Crystal, are you crazy? Why are you sneaking up on her? Do you want us to die here?" Crystal may not be a normal person. Seeing that Lin Luoran has lost her ability to fight, she dislocates Lin Luoran's hand. Crystal is very skillful. It seems that Lin Luoran knows that Huaxia cultivators have to use their hands to cast spells. Lin Luoran sweats because of the pain. She lies on the ground and her hands are dislocated. She can't even cast a spell to fight back. Crystal smiles. "Dana, since I dare to do this, I am confident that I can get out of here. Even if you don't believe me, you should believe in the blood vessel given by Lord Edward." Blood vessel? Dana's pupils shrink. She can't help but look at Crystal's finger. A bat ring flashes red. The bats are a little scared and don't want to rush at Lin Luoran like moths darting into a flame. Crystal squats down and flirtatiously lifts Lin Luoran's sweaty chin. "Beauty, how did you get into my hand?" She laughs. Lin Luoran is so regretful that she thinks that those who are not of the Huaxia clan must be punished. Whoever believes in these birdmen is a pig. Crystal seems to be determined to win Lin Luoran. She only dislocates Lin Luoran's hand, but she doesn't make things difficult for Lin Luoran. Instead, she stands up straight and sneers at the army of bats around. "Little cuties, since you are so naughty, why don't you sacrifice the blood vessel?" While saying, she cuts her wrist with her fingertip. The unique sweet aroma of the bloodline spreads. Ignoring the pale faces of Dana and the other two, Crystal drops her blood into the bat ring. Chapter 111. Lying on the ground, Lin Luoran's forehead is still covered with sweat. In fact, she has already endured the pain. Crystal is not a normal woman. Blood artifact sounds like a crooked way. How can she get out of here? While Lin is thinking of a solution, Crystal tells the handsome vampire named Dana to move Lin to the side of the mountain wall. They form a semicircle with the mountain wall as the back. Crystal stands in front of Lin Luoran, holds the ring up, and starts to recite the incomprehensible sacrificial words. "Cain above, use my blood to awaken the spirit of the sacred artifact. All the blood and flesh I offer are my offerings." The blood bats begin to fly around uneasily. They seem to want to run away, but they are attracted by some power and dare not to fly out. After reciting the sacrificial words, Crystal spreads her wings. A bloody power breaks through the seal and rushes out of the ring. It turns into a black mist of blood and rolls towards the place where the bats are gathered. The bats fly around, but they are no match for the bloody power. Lin Luoran can only hear the sound of explosions. It seems that there is a small bomb buried in the bats' bodies. Now, the bats are detonated together. Blood and flesh are splashed everywhere. The bloody smell and the cruel scene are so strong that people with poor mental quality will throw up their dinner from last night. Dana frowns. As an elegant and noble member of the new bloodline, he doesn't agree with Crystal's action of holding blood sacrifice. Besides, the blood bats are somehow related to them. Lin Luoran doesn't want to leave any room for negotiation. Soon, the whole cave is filled with the thick smell of blood. Bang, bang. There are sounds of explosions. The ring is obviously a great weapon. It has killed more than half of the bats in the cave. Though there are still bats flying in from the entrance, they are not as scary as before. With such a powerful ring, Crystal pretended that she couldn't stand it. It seems that she is trying to lure Lin Luoran out. Lin Luoran doesn't like this vampire at all. Lin Luoran squints her eyes and pretends to be in pain. In fact, it is just a dislocation. Reiki in her body can run and it doesn't really hurt. The problem is, who will take her hand? Lin glances at the other three. The two men of the bloodline are so timid in front of Crystal and have no opinions of their own. It is impossible for them to help Lin. As for Dana, Lin Luoran doesn't know if it's her illusion, but she feels that there is something wrong between Dana and Crystal. Underneath their modesty, there seems to be some dissatisfaction. Is this something that she can take advantage of? Lin Luoran has 1,000 thoughts in her mind. From time to time, she moans in pain. She pretends that she is injured so that Crystal will lower her guard and find a chance to escape. Just as she was about to plot against Dana, the noble vampire turned around and gave her a warning look to stay put. Lin Luoran is not narcissistic enough to think that everyone will fall in love with her. Dana is obviously not showing his love to her. Lin Luoran feels stressed. The moment she laid her eyes on Dana, the man of the bloodline sensed it. How old is he? Crystal has no time to pay attention to Lin Luoran. Her hands are crossed and her long nails are sticking out. If Lin Luoran could see Crystal's face, she would find that Crystal's maroon pupils are gone. There is no pupil or sclera in her eyes. Instead, Crystal's eyes are redder than blood. Her vampire fangs are coming out of her mouth. Lin Luoran is surrounded by a chaotic atmosphere and a strange beauty. Suddenly, Crystal raises her head and roars. She spreads her fingers, and the blood of the torn bat floats in the air. More and more blood accumulates and forms a big circle in the air. Dana frowns and the other two vampires look at Lin Luoran with admiration. Lin Luoran knows that the mysterious force tearing the bat apart is a preparation. What is happening now is the real blood sacrifice. The ring is glowing red. Apparently, it is trying to absorb the essence of the bat's blood like a whale swallowing water. Lin Luoran is having a headache. She is afraid that Crystal will be even more difficult to deal with after this weird blood sacrifice. Maybe God has heard Lin's voice. When the ring is about to absorb all the bat's blood, a cloud of black fog appears on the platform where the two vampires were lying. Lin feels that her wrist is burning. The bead is heating up, which is very rare. Except for Crystal, who is in a daze, Dana and the other vampires also notice the black fog and feel uneasy. Feeling the change of the bead, Lin Luoran is anxious. She doesn't have time to pretend to be hurt. She wants to run away now. However, as soon as she moves, Crystal turns around with bloodshot eyes. Crystal sneers and turns around again. It seems that Crystal doesn't care about Lin Luoran's attempt to run away. Lin Luoran stares at Dana and says seriously, "Put my hand back on. We have to get out of here." Dana looks at Crystal and doesn't answer. It seems that he is considering whether Lin Luoran is telling the truth. In just 2 minutes, the black fog on the cylindrical platform is getting thicker and thicker. It gradually takes shape in the void and a dark shadow looks at Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran feels guilty and sweats all over her body. What a young, delicious flesh. The shadow's voice seems to come from the bottomless abyss. The voice echoes in the entire cave, but it doesn't have a place to go. Dana turns around and looks at Lin Luoran. In fact, Lin Luoran is even more surprised than Dana. This demon-like shadow speaks Chinese. Even with the interference of the voice, Lin Luoran's tone is very strange. However, it is indeed the language of the state of Huaxia. Crystal's bloodshot eyes are wide open and she shouts, "You have ruined the sacred blood sacrifice. Lord Cain will punish you with blood." The black shadow seems to be thinking about who Cain, Crystal, is talking about. After a while, it suddenly grabs something in the air. The bat's blood is pulled out by the shadow. The bat's blood, which is the size of a round table, crackles in the shadow's hand and condenses into a bead of blood. Seeing this, Lin Luoran reaches for the mouth of the cave. Dana also steps back. The black shadow condenses the bat's blood into a bead and throws it into its mouth, if its shapeless mouth can be called a mouth. Crystal's wings tremble. The blood taken away by the shadow seems to have hurt her. The redness in her eyes fades a little, but her face is twisted because of the pain. Dana knows that this is the backfire of the failed blood sacrifice. Although he doesn't want to, if something bad happens to Crystal here, they won't be able to pay for it. He has to help Crystal. "Crystal, are you alright? Let's go." The two vampires are also guarding Crystal. As soon as Crystal gives the order, they will be ready to protect her and leave this weird bat cave. The demon shadow seemed to have been nourished just now, and his body seemed to have solidified a lot. He laughed and said, "What are you muttering about, uncivilized barbarians? You destroyed my blood bat, so use yourself to pay the debt? And you, little chi cultivator." Chapter 112. The shadow seems to be very interested in Lin Luoran. It looks at her for a while and laughs, which makes Lin's blood freeze. Lin Luoran steps back quickly, wanting to leave the bat cave, which makes her so uncomfortable and uneasy. With her speed, it should be easy for her to escape. The shadow laughs and creates a black hand to grab Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran can't cast any spells, so she has to use her spiritual mind to control the snow sword to block the attack. This is her last move to escape from Crystal. She has only seen the sword-riding spell in front of Li Shi, but she has never used it in front of others. She doesn't think the bloodline will guard against it. Lin Luoran only needs to wait for the light of the sword. Even if it can't cut off one of Crystal's wings, it can at least buy her some time, which will be enough for her to escape. The light of the sword of bright snow surges with coldness. If the sword hits Crystal, this annoying female vampire will be severely injured, even if she doesn't die. However, Lin Luoran has to deal with the black shadow with this sword. She is not sure about that. She can only hope that she can buy some time. The black shadow sneers. The strike of the grade 5 magic weapon is caught by the black hand. Maybe Lin Luoran is holding back, or she is in the level of training chi. Lin Luoran doesn't know how powerful the strike of the grade 5 magic weapon is. With a sizzling sound, the sword of bright snow is stained by the black hand. After a while, the sword is stained by the black hand. Lin Luoran feels that she can't fly on the sword. The connection between her and the flying sword becomes intermittent and faintly discernible. Is the black shadow the one who made White Fairy disappear and the sword of bright snow disobey her? Lin Luoran was not so panicked when she was attacked by Crystal. For the first time, she feels that she can't control her feet. A kind of fear grips her heart. No, she can't let the snow sword be destroyed. Lin Luoran tries to find the connection. Maybe the black shadow doesn't care about the sword of bright snow. After it temporarily loses its ability to fight, it doesn't stop Lin Luoran from summoning the snow sword. He is about to say something when Crystal, whose blood sacrifice is interrupted, comes to herself. She pushes Dana and the others away, spreads her wings and rushes to the black shadow. "Miss Crystal!" The three of them exclaim at the same time. However, Crystal is too fast for them to stop. Lin Luoran doesn't want to know whether Crystal is retarded or not. The only thing she knows is that this is her only chance. Lin Luoran turns around and rushes to the exit. The bats don't stop her. Before Lin Luoran can feel happy, she hits a light shield and bounces back. Inhibition. Lin Luoran is very familiar with this scene. There is a similar inhibition in her space. She sucked in a breath of cold air. Fortunately, it was only blocking her from leaving. If it was a killing restriction, she would definitely be dead by now. On the other side, Crystal flaps her wings and pounces at the black shadow like a sharp sword. She snorts, "How dare you disturb the blood sacrifice? Prepare to be punished by Lord Cain." She raised her hands high, and lightning flickered between her fingers. Clearly, she was very confident in this so-called blood punishment. Lin Luoran decides to turn back immediately. She rushes to the side of the bloodline. She remembers that Crystal once called him Dana. "Dana, we have to work together." Dana turns his eyes away from the black shadow and stares at Lin Luoran. He ignores her suggestion. Lin Luoran bites her lip. Are the bloodline all stupid? How can they not see the situation clearly? Do they really think that the blood punishment can defeat the black shadow? Lin Luoran does believe that there are extraordinary skills or treasures in the world. However, no matter how extraordinary they are, it depends on the person who activates them. It is not ridiculous to challenge someone of a higher level. If there is an insurmountable gap between them, it will be like throwing an egg against a stone. Lin Luoran retreats to the mountain wall. At this moment, Crystal's blood punishment takes shape. A blood-red sword with lightning cuts down from the sky. Different from Lin Luoran's flying sword, this is a blood sword made of pure strength. When the blood punishment cuts down, Lin Luoran smashes her arm against the mountain wall. Ouch! Lin Luoran can't help but cry out in pain as she tries to connect the bone. However, the first time is not enough. Lin Luoran's pain is in vain. Her arm is still hanging down powerlessly. Dana glances at Lin Luoran because of her groan. He is surprised that the female cultivator surnamed Lin from Huaxia can be so cruel to herself. Dana immediately turns his head to watch the fight. Crystal's blood punishment finally falls. It is not a head-on confrontation as Lin Luoran expected. The horrifying energy sword of the bloodline disappears the moment it hits the black shadow. Like a drop of water falling into the sea, it is absorbed by the black shadow. Crystal's maroon eyes are wide open in fear. Lin Luoran has smashed against the mountain wall again. This time, she finally hits the right spot. After a slight pain, Lin Luoran finds that she can move one of her arms again. When Crystal's sword is like a drop of water in the sea, Dana and the other two bloodline have already rushed over to help. Lin Luoran is sure that she hears the black shadow burp as if the blood punishment is a great tonic. The black shadow burps and a part of it turns into a big black hand. The hand is about to grab Crystal. Crystal still can't believe that the blood punishment doesn't work. She is pushed away by the bloodline who rushes to her. Dana pulls her back dozens of feet. Lin Luoran has already put her other arm back. Dana pushes Crystal to her side and shouts to her, "Let's work together." Work together? Lin Luoran sneers. What are they doing in the morning? Lin Luoran moves her arm. Usually, the dislocated arm can be put back immediately. However, the inflammation and swelling will start after half an hour. Therefore, Lin Luoran's fingers are still flexible. Lin Luoran pushes Crystal away, so the bloodline is pinched in the big hand instead of Crystal. Like Lin Luoran's Shui Zhao, the bloodline can't move anymore. His body is surrounded by black smoke. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether he is still alive or not. Lin Luoran doesn't want to fight head-on. Seeing that her fingers can still move, she rushes to the exit. Dana and the other bloodline are rejected, so they follow Lin Luoran shamelessly. Lin Luoran grits her teeth and casts the Golden Blade spell on the inhibition. The golden sword cuts on the inhibition, but nothing happens. You are just a chi trainer. How dare you try to break my inhibition? Ridiculous. The bloodline in the big black hand is like a chick. As the black shadow speaks, the bloodline suddenly exerts its strength. The bloodline ends up like the bat in the blood sacrifice. With a bang, the bloodline is pinched into pieces. Crystal's maroon eyes are dull. Clearly, the bloodline is taking revenge on her for sacrificing the bat. The black shadow seems to be digesting the bloodline's flesh and blood. Lin Luoran sees this opportunity and is about to risk using a high-level spell of the nature of gold to break the inhibition. However, White Fairy, who has been missing since they stepped on the mountain, suddenly says, "Use the fire arrow spell. You only have one chance. Hurry up." White Fairy sounds anxious. This is the first time Lin Luoran has seen her like this. However, even Crystal and the other two don't hear White Fairy's voice. The figure in the black fog stops eating and tilts his head. He is a little surprised. Chapter 113. Fire Arrow Spell. Fire Arrow is a spell that can only be used in the late stage of training Qi. Like the healing spell, if Lin Luoran can't break the enchantment, she will be helpless. Hearing that the Venerable calls White Fairy little guy, Lin Luoran finally understands why White Fairy has been hiding all this time. Maybe White Fairy noticed the evil Venerable as soon as Lin stepped into the mountain. Maybe White Fairy doesn't want to warn Lin Luoran, or she wants to wait and see. Judging from White Fairy's panic tone, Lin Luoran believes that the former is more likely. Lin Luoran's thoughts are complicated, but she makes up her mind quickly. Hearing what the Venerable says, Lin Luoran makes up her mind immediately. She will listen to White Fairy this time. There are 108 hand gestures in total. Under the threat of life and death, Lin Luoran feels that she has never been so fast before. Her right hand moves quickly and it only takes her half a minute to finish the hand gestures of this spell. After finishing the hand gestures, Lin Luoran gathers a large amount of fire reiki on her fingertips. Different from the fireball spell, a bow of void with fire on it first appears in front of Lin Luoran and floats in front of her. The Venerable seems to be interested in Lin Luoran. It stops absorbing the blood of the unlucky bloodline and grabs Lin Luoran with its huge hand. Lin Luoran puts her finger on the bowstring. At this moment, Dana, the vampire who has been keeping a low profile, spreads its wings and shouts, "Thunderstrike!" Lightning flashes in the silver veins on his wings and gathers in front of his chest. The lightning turns into a snake of lightning and rushes to the Venerable. Like Crystal's blood punishment, this is Dana's unique skill. The snake of lightning rushes forward like thunder. Instead of attacking the big hand of the Venerable, it rushes to the shadow on the stone platform and hits him accurately. The thunder snakes collide with the black fog. Instead of being devoured like Crystal's blood punishment, the thunder snakes are melting the black fog. As expected, thunder and lightning are the nemesis of demons since ancient times. Black Fog let out a muffled groan, as if he did not expect that this little electric snake could actually cause such damage to him. His solid body turned into nothingness on the stone platform. Crystal is happy, but Lin Luoran doesn't relax. If the Venerable is so easy to deal with, White Fairy won't be so scared. A flaming arrow is put on the bowstring made of fire reiki. Lin Luoran is already tired when she pulls the bowstring. Just like the healing spell, the fire arrow spell can only be easily performed by cultivators in the level of training chi. Lin Luoran is forcing herself to pull the bowstring. When Lin Luoran is about to release the fire arrow, the shadow on the stone platform gradually solidifies as expected. Dana can't keep a straight face anymore. He grits his teeth and releases another electric shock. The Venerable underestimates his enemy and he won't be shocked again. His big black hand moves faster than Dana's snake of lightning. He grabs Crystal and throws her to the snake of lightning. The man of the bloodline screams. Dana's expression changes drastically. He has to take back the snake of lightning. The more powerful the skill is, the more powerful the counterattack will be. The moment the snake of lightning enters Dana's body, he staggers a few steps. Blood comes out of his mouth uncontrollably. Apparently his internal organs have been injured. Lin Luoran has no time to care about what is happening outside. Her right hand is in the air. Red light spots are floating around her body. She has pulled the bowstring to the fullest. The red arrow not only collects all the reiki in Lin Luoran's body, but also all the fire reiki in the surrounding area under the power of the mysterious spell. Everyone is attracted by the dazzling arrow tip. Only the Venerable on the stone platform is looking through the black fog at Lin Luoran's right wrist. The bead is always hidden under her sleeve. Even if it is exposed occasionally, people will think that it is just a simple pearl accessory. Now, the bead is burning hot. It is the first time that the Venerable shows up in front of the Venerable, and he is staring at it. What? The Venerable feels that the bead is familiar. He can't help but exclaims. He wants to run away at first, but then he stops. If it is the bead, how can it be in the hands of a chi trainer with such a low level of cultivation? However, the Venerable can't stand the torment of the devil in his mind. He reaches for Lin Luoran with his black hand. Hiss! The fire arrow condensed with all the reiki in Lin Luoran's body is shot out of her hand. It is shining brightly and the arrow is as sharp as a shooting star. This is the most powerful and gorgeous spell in the level of training chi. This is the most beautiful arrow in the world. Like a shooting star, the arrow shot into the restriction formation set by the Black Shadow Venerable with a power that seemed to be able to break through the void. It was a clash between the pure fire attribute spiritual energy and the black fog of hell. What evil in this world could resist this prairie fire? Furthermore, the fire arrow spell was formed by condensing fire attribute spiritual energy into arrows. Its power was much higher than the elementary version of the fireball spell. Under the tearing of the fire arrow, the inhibition of the black fog is penetrated. First, a small hole collapses. Then, the entire inhibition of the hole collapses. Seeing that the black fog is rolling, Lin Luoran doesn't dare to waste any more time. She rushes forward with her exhausted body. Dana and the other two follow her closely. Obviously, they want to hitch a ride. As soon as Lin Luoran steps out of the inhibition, the three vampires catch up with her. At the same time, the black hand reaches for Lin Luoran's right wrist. Ah! Lin Luoren finally understands why the Snow of Bright was almost dead when she was caught by the black fog. The black hand is like a bottle of concentrated sulfuric acid. Although it didn't burn Lin Luoren's wrist, the sharp pain penetrates deep into her bones. Lin Luoren wants to give up her arm. Lin Luoren's heart sinks to the bottom. At the same time, the Venerable cries, "It's you!" The Venerable suddenly lets go of Lin Luoren's wrist as if he has seen something terrible. Even his original body on the platform is shocked. The black fog is rolling and he loses his shape. It's now or never. Lin Luoren rushes out of the inhibition with her injured hand and rushes to the hole. The Venerable is furious. The black fog rolls and he reappears. Regardless of the injury caused by the bead, he tries to catch Lin Luoren again. However, Crystal follows him closely. The hole is too narrow for the Venerable to catch Lin Luoren. Dana narrows his eyes and follows the Venerable. Only the man of the bloodline is loyal. He pushes Crystal away and willingly falls into the evil's hands. "Ancestor, your people will never betray you." The man of the bloodline knows that he has no chance to survive in the hands of the Venerable, so he explodes himself. Bang! The bats at the hole eat the man of the bloodline. The Venerable is also annoyed by the bats. Lin Luoren keeps running along the underground river. Finally, she sees a ray of light. She is about to collapse when she hears a clear chirp of a bird outside. It's Goldie. Chapter 114. Pa bought a ticket for the next day, so he will write one chapter each day. But it will definitely be more than 3,000 words. Today, the chapter is almost 4,000 words. Please don't shoot me. Seeing thousands of bats flying around the peak, Li Shi intuitively feels that something is wrong. She asks Goldie to take her to check, but Goldie refuses to go near the peak. "If you don't go, what if senior sister Lin is in danger?" Li stomps her feet in anger. She leaves Goldie and runs to the mountain. After a while, she feels a shadow on the ground. She looks up and finds that Goldie has caught up with her. That's right. Li pats Goldie's head and gets on the back of Goldie. She directs Goldie to fly to the mountain. After a while, she finds a cave at the foot of the mountain. Li wants to go in, but Goldie grabs her sleeve with its beak and tries to stop her. What's in the cave? The more Goldie acts like this, the more worried Li is about Lin. However, no matter how smart Goldie is, it can't speak. Goldie is so anxious that it can't tell Li what's in the cave. There are still a few bats at the entrance of the cave. Goldie is still suppressing them, so they don't dare to come up and eat Lin's flesh. At this moment, Lin Luoren staggers out of the cave. Li Shitler sees that Lin Luoren is in a mess and is about to ask her. Lin Luoren shouts, "Go!" Goldie lowers its body and Lin gets on its back. Li follows Goldie closely and grabs its feathers. Crystal and Dana, who are following Lin, have no time to be surprised by Lin's mount. They spread their wings and fly to the sky with Goldie almost at the same time. However, they are going in different directions. Bats are flying at the entrance of the cave. A roar comes from inside the cave. The whole mountain is shaking as if it is about to be overturned from the inside. A black skull flies out of the hole and chases after Goldie. In a few seconds, it has shortened the distance between Goldie and Goldie. Li Shiro looks back and trembles in fear. She throws a golden blade spell at it, but it is like a stone sinking into the sea. It doesn't even make a ripple. "Sister, what is this?" Lin Luoren is lying on Goldie's back. Her shoulders are swollen and she has no Reiki left. She has no energy to answer Li. She glances at the bead on her wrist. It must be the bead that made the Black Shadow Venerable chase after her. "Promise me 3 things in the future, and I will save you." White Fairy's voice rings in Lin's head for the second time today. It rekindles Lin's hope. What is it? Lin Luoren doesn't know what White Fairy wants to do. Even though it is an emergency, she doesn't want to fall into her trap. White Fairy smiles, "I haven't thought about it yet. But I will not embarrass you or exceed your ability. What do you think? If you agree, then swear on your inner demons. It's like a bank loan. You can buy a house right now, but you have to pay for it in your next life." After the crisis is over, you have to worry about it for the rest of your life. Lin Luoran has no choice. Nobody will die if she doesn't buy a house. If she doesn't agree with the fairy's 3 conditions, she, Goldie and Li Shi will die right away. I agree. Lin Luoran grits her teeth and makes the so-called Oath of the Devil under the guidance of White Fairy. White Fairy chuckles and comes out of the Soul Stone. Lin Luoran pats Goldie to ask it to speed up. White Fairy is wearing a palace dress. Her smile is charming. The black skull suddenly opens its mouth. Young man, get out of the way. Do you really want your primordial spirit to be destroyed? White Fairy smiles. Venerable, we are all the same. Why are you laughing at me? The black skull snorts. Even when you were alive, you were just a lowly chi trainer. How dare you compare me with you? You are courting death. White Fairy sneers. She reaches out and points. The surrounding scenery changes dramatically. Time goes back leisurely. Mountains rise from the ground. Today's river was originally a desert. Now the sand was even glaciers before. The black skull is stunned. It is very familiar with this scenery. Is it his territory tens of thousands of years ago? Just as he thought about this, a group of bats flew over from the lush mountains. One of them had a patch of white fur on its head and was about a meter tall. It landed on the ground and transformed into a beautiful young lady. She smiled and said, Venerable one, what took you so long? Venerable. The skull looks down at itself. Isn't it a big bat? With a thought, he also transformed into human form. He was actually a tall and sturdy man with a beard. Yen, why are you here? The black shadow Venerable calls out the name of the Batgirl. It feels strange to him as if he hasn't called her like this for many years. Looking at the beautiful girl beside him, the black shadow Venerable feels that he thinks too much. Surrounded by a group of bats, the two return to their residence. It is a beautiful place with beautiful mountains and clear waters. Flowers bloom all year round. It is a beautiful place surrounded by fairy mist. Halfway up the mountain, there was a vast flat area. A throne carved out of white marble was faintly discernible in the mist. There was also the sound of drumming. Yen air was like a fairy running in the forest. Every glance and smile of hers was enough to captivate him. Venerable, I have prepared a song and dance for you. The black shadow Venerable wants to shake his head and say that he doesn't want to watch the song and dance. He just wants to talk to her. He feels that he hasn't talked to Yen for a long time. However, Yen is as smooth as a breeze in the mountains. She escapes from his hand with a smile. Yen is used to playing this kind of trick. The black shadow Venerable laughs and doesn't ask further. He sits on the throne and watches the song and dance. The dancers are all very beautiful. They are wearing soft and elegant white linen dresses. Their long hair is loose, but it can't hide their beauty. The black shadow Venerable remembers that these girls are not from his tribe. He has always been protective of his people, so he will never ask the girls of his tribe to learn this charming song and dance. Taking a closer look, the leader is indeed a girl from the single-horned deer family. She has a small antler on her head and her eyes are so innocent that they are touching. Every girl here is more beautiful than the Batgirl Yin. However, the black shadow Venerable is not in the mood to watch the dance. Whereas Yen, as soon as he thinks about it, the scene in front of him changes again. The white-haired bat flies back from the sky. One of its wings seems to be injured, so it is difficult for it to fly. Yen. The guard next to the black shadow Venerable instantly turns into a bat and rushes forward to protect the bat. The bat turns into the girl named Yen, when it lands on the ground. One of her arms is injured, and the bright red blood makes the black shadow Venerable furious. Who hurt you? Yen is not very beautiful, but she has a delicate temperament. Now she is pouting, which can make people's heart melt. That chi trainer is so hateful. That chi cultivator is so despicable. I only caught 2 ordinary people to quench my thirst, but he didn't say anything and slashed me with his sword. Luckily, Yen ran fast. Otherwise, how could I see the honorable again? Yen face was pale and full of sadness. The black shadow Venerable frowns and asks someone to take Yen down to bandage her wound. He flies to the top of the mountain and looks at the smoke rising from the human village in the distance. His eyes are full of killing intent. Another chi trainer. Before his intelligence was awakened, he was a special species among the bats. He was born to be the king. The whole bat clan worked together to feed him. No matter if it was the weak human beings or the strange beasts from the untainted land, none of them had the power to fight back when they encountered the vampire bats. When he gradually developed his intelligence, he refined his body with the essence of the sun and the moon. After a long time, he awakened many talents and abilities. Wherever he led the vampire bats, they were invincible. Although the meat of the monsters was very nourishing, it was not as delicious as the soft skin and tender meat of the human race. Besides, the human race was easy to catch. All the capable beasts in the prehistoric world loved this kind of food. In the Black Shadow Venerable's mind, eating people was a very normal thing. Until one day a person suddenly appeared. The Black Shadow Venerable seems to ignore that person subconsciously. As time went by, people called chi trainers gradually appeared among the human race. These people refined the Reiki of heaven and earth into their bodies. It seemed that they were born to be more suitable for cultivation than the other species. In just a few thousand years, they had learned to use external objects. They could fly in the sky and dig into the ground. They could make clouds and rain with a flip of their hands. They could even threaten some prehistoric monsters. The Black Shadow Venerable sneered. These clowns were just SO. Those prehistoric monsters were born with the will of heaven, but they were so disappointing. They were just eating two ordinary people. However, these chi trainers dared to hurt his yen. They really looked down on him. The nearby chi trainers could only be found on a mountain called Mount Qingluan. Even so, he might as well catch all of them and let Yen vent her anger. That night, the starry sky is especially bright. The Venerable has gathered all the masters in the tribe and they are hovering above Mount Qingluan. The chi trainer who injured the white-haired bat and saved the villagers is the successor of this generation of Mount Qingluan. He talks about what happened during the day with his master under the moonlight. The old cultivator with white hair and beard is full of praise for his apprentice. The Tao of Heaven is not alone. You did a good job. As soon as the old cultivator finished his words, screams came from the mountain where his apprentices rested. Mount Qingluan was covered in black fog and the stars were all covered. The Black Shadow Venerable came from the moonlight. The old cultivator was killed on the spot. The rest of the people, including the young chi trainer who hurt the bat, were all taken back to their territory by the blood bats. The starry night is shining. The young cultivator hasn't recovered from the shock of his grandmaster's death. The Black Shadow Venerable throws his junior fellow apprentice in front of him. Tell me, is it right or wrong for us to eat people? The Venerable lowered his head and asked the young chi trainer. The chi trainer answered coldly without thinking, it's wrong. The Venerable waved his fingers like a knife, and the young chi trainer was cut into pieces in front of him. All the chi trainers were shocked. The young chi trainer bit his lips. Every day, the Venerable killed one of his apprentices in front of the chi trainer who hurt Yen, and asked him if it was right or wrong for him to eat people. 351 people. A year passed by quickly. Yen had long forgotten about the injury. She went to the village from time to satisfy her cravings. It was such a wonderful life. The last one who was thrown in front of the young chi trainer was his 7-year-old junior sister. She had just joined Qingluan 3 days ago, and she was just an ordinary girl in the mortal world. On the Green Phoenix Mountain, whether it is the cook or the old lady who sweeps, they are all chi trainers with some cultivation. Only this junior sister apprentice is a real mortal. She was only 6 years old when she entered the sect. Because she was still growing her teeth, her voice was soft. She chased after them and called them senior brothers and sisters. Everyone liked her. Seeing his junior sister was brought in front of him, the young chi trainer's clear eyes wavered for the first time. Senior brother, it is wrong to eat people. The little girl named Momo clenched her fists. The young chi trainer murmured to himself, beasts don't kidnap people, so why should people kill beasts? What is right in the world? The Black Shadow Venerable laughed. The law of the jungle is the law of the world. I am stronger than you, so it is right to eat you. You are stronger than me, so you can eat me. Momo's face was so hungry that it was only the size of a palm. She raised her head stubbornly. It is wrong to eat people. The Black Shadow Venerable spread his fingers and asked coldly, "Let me ask you again. Is it right or wrong to eat people?" The young Chi Refinement Warrior's eyes were filled with pain. The scene of 350 fellow disciples being torn apart in front of him haunted his Dao heart every night. If he did not experience it himself, no one would be able to empathize with what he had experienced. However, Momo was still so young and she had never learned any Taoist spells. Who was qualified to let her bear the catastrophe of the Qinghuan school? However, if he answered, "It is right to eat people," would the 350 apprentices of the Qinghuan school die in peace? The young Qi trainer closed his eyes in pain. The Black Shadow Venerable sneered and grabbed Momo with his claws. She was defenseless. As long as the Black Shadow Venerable's claws fell on her, she would be torn into pieces like all the Qi trainers of the Qinghuan school. Is the law of the jungle the law of the world? The voice was plain, but it sounded like a breeze, a mountain spring, or a floating cloud in the sky. It sounded amiable, but no one could figure out where it came from. Stop playing tricks. The Black Shadow Venerable didn't care about it and waved his claws. Chapter 115. Outside the lonely peak, the sun is blazing. White Fairy is a soul. Even her human body is illusionary, not to mention her clothes. She is gorgeous but lacks a sense of reality. However, at this moment, White Fairy's palace dress is fluttering even though there is no wind. Her complacent face turns sweaty. She is sweating because she is under a lot of pressure. Her appearance comes from her heart, which is reflected in her invisible body. The black skull is 10 feet away from her. White Fairy puts a beam of light on it. The surrounding scenery is like a fleeting light and a passing shadow, returning to the picture that the Black Shadow Venerable has been thinking about for thousands of years. The scene of towering mountains but deserted people occasionally flashes in front of White Fairy. She becomes an illusion and goes deep into the Black Shadow Venerable's soul. Through his eyes, she sees the Black Shadow Venerable's past. This is the supreme illusion spell that she painstakingly developed after being trapped in the abyss for thousands of years. If she uses it to deal with Lin Luoran, it will be like cutting melons and vegetables. White Fairy will feel that it is not worth it. However, White Fairy has never thought that the illusion spell that she has practiced for thousands of years will be used to deal with a primitive monster for the first time. At first, she only thought that the magnetic mountain was suppressing a mighty figure of diabolism. She never expected that it would be a primitive monster. Yes, she should have thought of it. Except for the mighty figures of primitive times, most people were called cultivators. Who would call them the ancient name of Chi Cultivator? In her time, the Lost Land was just a place for trial. Many high-level monsters were killed by White Fairy. However, White Fairy never thought that one day she would be in a stalemate with a primitive monster. Even though they are both souls, there is still a big gap between them. Fortunately, it seems that he is suppressed under the magnetic mountain. White Fairy grits her teeth and increases her control of the illusion. The picture changes quickly. Through the eyes of the Black Shadow Venerable, White Fairy sees a hand. This White Fairy finds it familiar at first, and then she is shocked. Playing tricks on me. The Black Shadow Venerable ignores the erratic voice and keeps attacking. Bang! Under his sharp claws, Tao Wu's small body is torn into pieces. The young Chi trainer can't bear the impact and passes out. The Black Shadow Venerable smiles provocatively. He only laughs at the mysterious voice. Not only does it break into his territory, but it also tries to meddle in other people's business. But what could he do? Didn't he have to watch this little human girl die under his claws with his own eyes? The Black Shadow Venerable is complacent. The voice sounds like a sigh, which makes him feel weird. He looks at the blood under his feet. Where is it human blood? The human girl's torn body also disappeared. Only the big stone under his feet was left. Dust flew everywhere under his claw, and gravel covered the ground. Was he trying to substitute someone else for someone else? The Black Shadow Venerable frowns. Substitute for Tao Jiang is not a very clever technique among Qi trainers. The Black Shadow Venerable has never seen anyone who can perform substitute for Tao Jiang under his nose. He finally looks up at the entrance of the dungeon. The first thing the Black Shadow Venerable sees is a hand. The fingers are slender and clean. They are not fancy or white, but they look like jade. There is a pearl on the wrist, which makes it even harder to tell whether it is a man or a woman. The little human girl named Momo is lying in this man's arms. The Black Shadow Venerable finally sees his face clearly. His long hair is casually hanging, and he is wearing the most common cotton and linen robe. His facial features are not ugly, but they don't stand out at all. The Black Shadow Venerable glances at him and seems to forget him in the blink of an eye. However, the Black Shadow Venerable is sure that this is a human man. Lao Ai's eyes were closed, sleeping soundly. This dungeon was extremely filthy. The 350 Qi cultivators of Qinghuan Mountain were only a small portion of them. There used to be more people and more demon blood splattered here. However, as soon as this man stepped in, the filthy air slowly dissipated. He was clearly a very ordinary human man, and his steps were also languid. Yet this dungeon was filled with a fresh air. Is it because I am stronger than you that I can kill you and humiliate you at will? The man in the robe asks casually in a relaxed tone, as if he is asking the Black Shadow Venerable if he has eaten today. The Black Shadow Venerable stares at the man in the robe. There is nothing special about this man, and he doesn't even have any cultivation. This is the scariest part. The Black Shadow Venerable suddenly disappears. The next second, he appears in front of the man in the robe. The bat's teeth stop 2 inches away from the man's neck. It is not that the Black Shadow Venerable doesn't want to or can't move. It is that the man in the robe gently points at him, and the time and space around the Black Shadow Venerable are frozen. The Black Shadow Venerable opens his eyes, but he can't move at all. The Black Shadow Venerable used to fight against Qi trainers and powerful monsters in the wilderness. He has mastered his supernatural power for many years, but he has never been suppressed by someone else with just a finger before he could do anything. The man in the robe is relaxed. He doesn't think it is a big deal. He just asks lightly, "Did you kill the 351 people from the Mount of Qinghuan?" The Black Shadow Venerable moves his lower lip and finds that he can speak again, "Yes." "You are quite responsible," the man in the robe says lightly. He looks down at the little girl, Momo, who is sleeping soundly in his arms, and says to himself, "Humans eat beasts, and beasts eat humans. It is the natural selection of the fittest. If you want to fill your stomach, you eat them. What's wrong with that?" He suddenly raises his head. "Did you catch more than 300 people from the Mount of Qinghuan to fill your stomach?" The Black Shadow Venerable is silent. This man in the robe is not friendly. Maybe he is an old friend of the Mount of Qinghuan for revenge. If he tells the truth, the Black Shadow Venerable knows that the result will not be good. However, the man in the robe is staring at him indifferently, or maybe he is staring somewhere else. The man in the robe is so casual that the Black Shadow Venerable can't lie. Lie, this is such a strange word. The Black Shadow Venerable has never lied in the wilderness for so many years. "No, I caught them to humiliate them and to kill time. If you want to kill them, just kill them. Don't talk nonsense." The man in the robe suddenly smiles. "You are quite honest. Are you trying to provoke me to kill you and let your people go?" The Black Shadow Venerable's pupils shrink. This man wants to exterminate the whole clan. The man in the robe waves his hand, and the guard of the Black Shadow Venerable appears in the dungeon. Venerable! He was the most talented junior in the younger generation of his clan, and he had only been promoted as a guard for about 10 years. For the demon cultivators of the Bloodbat clan who had gained sentience, their lives were long and boundless, and 10 years was just a snap of the fingers. That is to say, this young monster cultivator is very talented and has a bright future in the Vampire Bat clan. Is it right or wrong for humans to eat beasts? Before the Black Shadow Venerable answers, the guard answers, "Humans are as weak as ants." Of course, They are born to be eaten by us. The man in the robe laughs. The Black Shadow Venerable can't refute the young guard, because this is the idea he has always instilled in the Black Shadow Venerable. Humans are like ants, beasts are the masters of the wilderness, and humans only deserve to live in the cracks. Look at their joy, their mood, and their needs. Humans eat beasts? They deserve to die. The man in the robe shakes his head and gently points his finger. The young guard of the Vampire Bat clan can't resist at all. First, he is bound on the spot and can't move, just like the Black Shadow Venerable. Then he metamorphoses into his original form, a 2-meter-long vampire bat. Then the bat turns into dust under the nose of the Black Shadow Venerable. A breeze blows it away and it disappears without a trace. The Black Shadow Venerable controls the Black Shadow Venerable and destroys the Vampire Bat Guard with one finger. White Fairy happens to see this scene. He points his finger down and sneers. Even so, your Vampire Bat family will never be able to cultivate again. You will drink blood every day and never be wise again. Even so, your Vampire Bat family will never be able to cultivate again. You will drink blood every day and never be wise again. The words of the man in the robe seem to be engraved between heaven and earth. White Fairy's illusion finally collapses in an instant. When you read this chapter, Pa has already got on the train. He won't be home until the evening of the 8th. Try to keep updating. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.